Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to All Nerds here for our Royal Flush, a Wild Cards adventure. Kate, do you want us to do the announcements now?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm just going to do the announcements. Welcome to All Nerds Here. We're so excited you're joining us on this great Sunday. We just wanted to let you know that we are an online community. We have two amazing games that are happening right now. This game that you're tuning in for. So thank you for tuning in for it, whether you're live or on the VOD. And then also on Wednesdays, we have Haven Land Reclaimed, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. I remember the name because
Nailed it.
my brain just decided
Got
to
it in
go
one take.
like, no, that's not the name of it. You don't know what you're talking about. On Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, check it out. It's amazing. Our first episode was last week. It's fantastic. So you should check that out. Also, you can check us out on Discord if you want to come hang out with a cool group of people and learn more about our shows or just post memes, which is mostly what people do. Uh, and
A lot
we
of memes.
have merch. We are sponsored by So Nerdwear. It's what the nerds wear. And they have some awesome merch, All Nerds Here merch. We have some merch from our show PWN, and we are working on new merch now for these shows. So stay tuned to see what happens. You can get a 10% off if you use code RASSLE, which may be changing in the future, but right now it has not changed because I keep forgetting to talk to Maddie about it. So I will. And if you want to know what's going on with us, check us out on Twitter at All Nerds Here. It's really easy to find us. Those are the announcements, Jackie.
Thank you, Kate.
It was really strange when Perdita just suddenly just pile drives someone in an alleyway. It was really strange.
Oh, man. Why don't we have everybody introduce your characters, who you're playing for today, and who you are, what characters you're playing today, what is your mythos as well, and why don't we start off with Angela?
Hello there, wonderful viewers and folks tuning in from the VODs. I'm Angela, and today in our City of Mist RPG campaign, I'm going to be playing Medium, or Miri Rocovado, who is a death doula slash end of life caregiver who has the embodiment of the mythos of Shipe Totec, a god of rebirth and death, who is otherwise referred to as our Lord of the Flayed Skin.
Awesome. Simon?
Hello, my name is Simon. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Perdita Glass, who is a private investigator. Her mythos is Alice in Wonderland.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. And Kate?
Hi, I'm Kate. My pronouns are she, her, and I am playing Faith Hughes, a grad student and a court appointed special advocate who works with youth and children in the justice system. And her mythos, I have to remember that, is the Scottish werewolf, the Wolver.
Awesome. And our missing player, Robert, usually is playing Tommy Two Sticks, who has the mythos of Babe Ruth. We miss you, Robert. Wish you were here, but we will have to continue on today as we finish the rest of this case that you're all in the middle of. So let's dial back to the end of the events of last week. You all took on a case about a missing person named Chris Roth. His sister, Helen, had reached out to Perdita to try to see if she could find his whereabouts. Your investigation led you to Tommy's workplace, the docks, and to the warehouse that Chris actually worked in, which was warehouse number 4, that belongs to the Sanzang Imports Company. When you found the office, it was ransacked, drawers open and papers scattered about. And in your investigation, you realized that some of the ledgers were missing. And someone else was also lurking around as well. And Faith decided to pounce on them.
I don't know what you're
Turning-
talking about.
turning into a full giant wolf creature. This is apparent infiltrator had no idea what was going on and just simply wanted to return some important documents that were taken. And so a little brief exchange was given, but security was heading up after the ruckus, and you all managed to escape and leave the warehouse. And as well, Tommy had secured your escape route through the gate in your very, very, very nice, very buy van.
The bitchin' buy van.
The bitchin' buy van. I love it. So you leave the docks after additional alarms start going off. And all four of you are in the car at the moment. Driving. Who is driving? I want to know. You think Tommy's the one driving? All right, so Tommy's the one driving. So everyone else has a brief moment to kind of catch themselves and process the events of what has happened so far.
Well, whatever's going on, it's clearly bigger than we thought. And it's big enough that somebody else who got caught up in this is ready to tap out. I don't know about you, but I want to know what's in these documents.
Okay. So, Perdita, when you kind of thumb through the ledger, it's a hefty ledger. It's about 100 pages long. And you can see that it's bound. It has a spine, it's bounded. And you can see that it is shipping manifests going back 3 months. So this was the missing ledger that was in the drawer that was forced open. And you see the familiar circles and highlights and a couple of footnotes of a singular hand. And again, it's becoming apparent to you that these shipments have some sort of significance.
So we know there's this month's shipments are missing, and that they're connected to the hospital somehow. I guess, and it's like general supplies, right?
Yeah, it's listed as general hospital equipment and supplies.
Okay.
But you can tell that it's all of them that went to the hospital were marked, and you can tell that some of these shipments are pretty large in quantity and often.
Oh. I guess Perdita's like flipping through the documents and like looking over at Miri like there's just all of this stuff. It seems like, why would they want to try and cover up sending medical supplies to a hospital, the stuff that you need to keep everything running? And it doesn't look like there's anything unusual about it. It's just the usual things you need to get your job done. It's not like they're shipping all kinds of experimental drugs or chemicals or anything like that.
Right.
Are you seeing an uptick in things happening to people and the increased need for care?
Well, there have been as far as media knows, there have been the recent cases that have been just a little bit stranger in frequency, right? So that's sort of like started a lot of this, like at least for her getting involved.
Yep. There have been recent deaths, more frequent, also very odd deaths.
Yeah, I think I'm writing my notes here. I think she would probably just turn, because probably she has not been as tuned in to the conversation because she's still recovering from letting out the like plant force everywhere. So
Mhm.
she's just sort of been like trying to listen, but I think when you actually like address her, she kind of like snaps out of it.
Mm.
Um, well, there's been the thing is things have been the same as before, but they haven't. There've been more folks getting sick, more folks passing away, and people pass away all the time when it comes to that.
Mhm.
It's just part of the job, especially in this field. But they're happening more often, and they're passing away in a lot weirder ways. I don't know. I think some folks who like were on the upswing and maybe had a few more months than you would have expected just started getting sicker, and other folks who were pretty fine suddenly ended up in probably a place where they were more terminal. Like, again, it's weird. It's just normal enough that unless you worked in the field, you wouldn't notice.
Huh.
I don't know if Faith would like pipe in, but I do think that she'd be sitting on the floor because there are two benches, right? And then the big, like we joked about the big dog bed in the middle.
Oh
I think
yeah.
she'd be
Uh-huh.
sitting on the floor, but I think that she would be leaning against Miri's leg and trying to just do that like touch comfort with like her head kind of against her knee. If Miri would accept it, it wouldn't be like saying anything, just like that kind of touch comfort. Yeah.
I just thought is Faith in Wolver form
No.
Miri's like emotional support.
Faith is not in Wolver form anymore, but could be. But Faith is in human form now. But yeah.
Oh, hey, we have some folks rating us.
Yeah.
right
Hey,
now.
Zinar, thanks for the raid.
Hey, what's up?
Oh,
Hey,
hey,
folks.
Zynar.
Thanks for tuning in.
So I feel like if you want to get some more out of that ledger, Perdita, you probably could make an investigate roll for me.
Yeah, like there's enough information in there that I could just like start burrowing
Mhm.
her. Yeah. Okay. So I think as she's like talking, she's thinking out loud in the same vein of like, okay, so if there's these increased deaths and they're unusual, but you wouldn't be able to see them normally. So monkeys, that doesn't make any sense. What if? And she's like doing the brain, like,
the
connecting the
criminal
dots.
calculus in the,
The
head
brain map.
does
Right.
appear.
I think I will call into play perpetual curiosity.
Okay.
She's a voracious reader, so she's like speed reading everything and like trying to connect everything back and forth to what she's doing.
Okay.
And I guess she's a PI.
Oh
She's
yeah.
used to like looking for these kinds of connections.
Oh yeah. I would totally throw that in. And I'm trying to think.
I was wondering if Miri could help in this because I feel like this is the kind
Yeah.
of thing where Perdita might have the general investigative like making the connections, but Miri would probably be able to just with her bed of knowledge be like something Perdita might overlook, just be like, oh no, that's not that weird, and I'm like, no, that's
Okay.
weird. That's
Um.
something about that's off.
So
like,
So if you want, you could spend some of your help points to create a and spend it as juice. And spending it as juice, you can either create a story tag, or you can burn a tag, or you can give a status to Perdita.
Okay, so I definitely burned the one help point I have with Perdita, and so it was story tag. Burn.
You could burn a tag, which would which can be either, which is anything that's either ongoing or current, but there's nothing ongoing right now, so that's kind of irrelevant. But you can give a status. So maybe if you want to give a status, it'll be a status equal to the number of points you spend. So so you can spend any number of points if you have more. I would say an example for a status might be something about informed might be a good one because you
like
do
just
have
keen
information.
eye.
Keen eye, yeah.
Or
And that'll be a status that lingers for this use.
yeah, I think that seems the most appropriate. Like to
Okay.
so burn the 1 health point to create that tag of just like informed, yeah, or hospice or like medically informed or something like
Okay.
that.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So you get an extra. Miri spent 1 point, so you get an extra 1 to power on that roll.
So now we're gonna see where we get with it.
Okay, so I'm also going to invoke my weakness for my routine.
Oh.
More questions than answers, which is what I'm left with at the end of the day. Which
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense because, like, no matter what, like, she's never going to wrap up everything in
Yeah.
a way that feels satisfying to her. But also, every
Mhm.
mystery always leads further down the rabbit hole, doesn't it? So
Yes. Yes, it does.
I've got a total of a 3 power, I believe, to roll this.
Okay.
So I've got 3 tags that I've ticked, plus the 1 from the help from Miri, minus 1 from my weakness.
Yep.
I investigate.
We got
I double
You got
roll.
13. Wow.
Nice.
You got a 13. All right. So
Low
you
total
have
power, right?
yeah, you get number of questions equal to power.
Okay. Let's see.
And by the way, it goes smoothly. There's no complications as well.
Oh, sweet. And I can bank these too, right?
You
I
can. Mhm.
like flashback later on to be like,
Yep, you totally
When I-
can. So if you can't come up with one now, you can totally bank them. I would say the source would be the ledger. So you can go on your character sheet on Roll20 and just what you would do is you'd use one of the tracking cards, and
yeah.
you would put and you see where the magnifying glass is. You could
Mhm.
click that; it becomes clues, and then inside the tag description, you're going to put the source, which is in this case the ledger.
Okay.
And then right now you have 3, so you can click up to 3, and then you can decide if you want to answer those now, or you can save them and then use them for a flashback later.
Okay. So the kinds of information that's probably in this ledger are mostly about just like the shipping manifests and information and stuff. Who's signing for this?
Okay, that's a good one. So you notice that in the very front of the ledger, there is a brief description. You see that it's it is the business logo for Shangzhang Imports, and then you see further down the printed name, acting office administration, and it has Chris Roth printed, and then his signature underneath, and then it has like the generic things like month to month, and then it looks like it's handwritten. And you can do a brief, and I'll give you this one. You briefly can see that the handwriting matches any of the footnotes that might be there on the ledger.
So Roth was making these notes. So wait. And Perdita's like looking up. She like she's got the papers and like just drops them like Roth runs or is heading up the warehouse that Tommy's got, but he's signing for this stuff for the hospital. Did we know that he was working for both organizations, or is the implication that he is he's receiving the packages at the hospital, or he's receiving the packages at the warehouse?
He is receiving. I'll give you that he is receiving at the warehouse.
Okay,
just for
okay.
clarity. So he is receiving it at the warehouse. So so there's the sign off of receipt and send off. So and I will say that on most shipping ledgers, most warehouse ledgers, I should say, there's always a sign off on who picks up. So in the case of the warehouse, there is someone who picks up the shipments.
And that's separate from him, who's like signing off on the paperwork officially.
Mm-hmm.
But he
Okay,
does
so I
work
get-
for Shenzhen. That's what we
He
can
works
get
for
from
Shenzhen.
that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is
So-
the only warehouse that they own on the docks, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I remember us learning last time.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So we just
is
confirm that concretely. That's good. So yeah, she's like, okay, so Roth works for Shenzang. He gets the stuff. Um, is there information about who is picking up the supplies and taking it to the hospital?
Okay, now that is definitely one of your questions, and on there, it shows us another signature on the opposite end, and it looks like it's for each of the circle highlighted ones too. There are a few infrequent names, but the most frequent name you've seen is Thomas Yang, Y-A-N.
Okay. Looks like a lot of people move this stuff back and forth, but maybe we got a name here. There's a lot of deliveries from a Yang. Thomas Yang? Might be worth looking into, see what he knows, if he's in on this at all, or if he's just a patsy. And then I'm going to hang on to that other question for
Okay.
now, while we just talk as we're driving.
Sure thing. I'll even give you for your high roll, when you're flipping through it, a business card slips out of the ledger. And on this business card, it reads 2 cents, which is the tabloid that some of you have been seeing around town. And you see that a name written on the back of it, and it says Richards. And it has an address and a phone number.
Hello. What do you make of this?
Have I ever had any dealings with this tabloid?
So, in your
Ooh.
past, Faith, so let me see here for you, Faith. So for you, I'm gonna say that you're definitely a frequent reader, because 2 Cents really likes to make a lot of opinion pieces about the way things are handled in the city. But not only that, it has a tendency to also focus on pulling out incidents of corruptions and also incidents of where fraudulent claims happen within the city. So it covers businesses, political works. It talks about it. They've also done things about how they're I guess you could say like systemic injustices in terms of like why is one neighborhood not getting the care it needs when this other neighborhood just got a new thing put up. Why? So it's like,
yeah.
so it very fits into your element of being an activist. It's not always the most reliable source because it's mostly opinion pieces, but they do still have some elements of facts in there, and it is definitely one of the most read papers in the city.
Does Richards have a byline?
Richards is actually yes. So Richards is actually, you do recall that name, and Richards is a reporter for the 2 Cents.
Richards is a reporter.
Huh. Well,
you've seen the name because even on the digital version of the tabloid, you always see Richards. It's S. Richards is the author byline.
So what's this person doing digging around in this whole thing?
I don't know.
This is getting tastier.
What is the connection overall to the hospital? Why the hospital of all things?
I feel like we have several places to look.
You do?
I feel like we do our best work when we take what we're good at and we separate it, right? That is our thing. It is our thing.
Screaming. Media agrees with this.
So I will say, because it is very late in the evening, and and you all had a really brisk rush with security at the docks, and Tommy just informs you that he's gonna have a heck of a lot of explaining to do tomorrow morning.
We should probably go
So
sleep tonight. But like,
Yeah.
but
you should probably get some
tomorrow,
rest.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying is we should probably all decide tonight what we're gonna focus on tomorrow, and then meet back up at the alleyway afterwards
Mhm.
and compare notes.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like Mitty can look into whatever's going on with the shipments. If you can get
Yeah.
eyes on what's going on there.
I can at least see if anyone's noticed anything else. 'Cause
Mhm.
this is weird even for
Maybe
kind
maybe you can try and establish a pattern between these deaths too, if there is anything.
yeah, that's I feel like that's probably the thing that would stick out to her the most. It's like why now we have actual names and now it's something to do with the supplies. Has there been something related to the kind of care or materials that across all of the like recent deaths that's sticking out to her? She's not saying any of that out loud, but that's
Yeah.
what's on her
Mhm.
mind.
Okay.
Now, Faith, you're used to talking to journalists.
Yeah, I'll take the 2 cents reporter if you want, and I figure you've got the best odds of tracking down this Yang and Shang Zhen and all of that.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move into a downtime montage. Montage.
Montage.
Gosh.
Let's see.
So
I'm gonna look for downtime montage
so for City of
music.
so for those of our viewers following along, in City of Mist there is a special move for all the players called montage, which is a downtime. And whenever a character has some downtime, they can choose a number of they have a number of choices to do how they want to spend their downtime. They can either give attention to one of their logos themes, and they get to tell everyone at the table how they do it, and then mark attention to that theme. They can work the case, and if they work the case, they can gain 3 clues with a method and a source based on their description. They can explore their mythos, and this is where they delve deeper into their mysteries. And they will gain a clue with a method and source based on their description, and they also mark attention to their mysteries theme. They can prepare for their next activity, and basically what that means is that they can recover any of their burnt power tags or gain 3 juice with a method based on their description. And they can choose from the effect, and then they can also choose the effects for that as well. And then the last thing they can do is recover, which is that they can, for each ongoing status that's affecting them, they can either reduce the tier of set statuses, or I can be generous and remove them all. It is a little bit of my discretion. And afterwards, we will continue on moving. When we finish the montage, it's going to be when all of you reconvene back in the alleyway. Okay. Is there anybody who wants to start this montage off?
I'm so torn between 2 different things because of because of what happened last session. Damn it.
I mean, I can kick it off if you want to
Yeah,
decide
sure,
between
yeah,
the 2
yeah.
things.
Okay, sure.
No, it's just gonna come down to me just flipping a coin because I can't actually decide because both seem appropriate.
Okay.
Perdita doesn't care about her mythos right now. I mean, not immediately. She's gonna work the case because she's a PI. That's what we do, and that's how I've chosen to engage with this dramatic storyline. So, it's like, is it too meta to make a detective for a noir detective game, or
Nah.
is it exactly on the nose because
Yeah.
you're always doing the thing the game wants you to do?
Right.
Who can say? I'm gonna work the case by doing just the classic, like we're in this like sort of 80s like retro future kind of thing. So she's like going through. I think she like goes home, and she's got like the TV going while she's got like some late night, like takeout like fast food pizza, like not like a nice pizza joint, but like a Domino's.
Pretty bad.
Right. Like it's what was open at 2 a.m. as she's like kind of got it while like the papers are spread out over a card table in her apartment and the TV's going with the late night news. And so she's like kind of listening to that and going through the papers. And then like in the morning, she's like sits bolt upright from her couch with a paper plate with like half a pizza slice next to it, like washes up, goes right to the phone book with her hair still wet, and she's like
Mhm.
drying it out, and like flipping through the yellow pages of like, okay, where's this yang? How many yangs are there by process of elimination? Who can I? Circles it, tears the sheet out or something with her,
Okay.
and hits the bricks. And so she's like looking for like where this guy is and what his deal is.
Sure. So I think so you go ahead and write in your tracking card. You're gonna get 3 clues, and it is for it's going to be Yellow Pages as the source, and the method is going to be I'm guessing you're going to do the kind of interview and see and verify identity kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yang's identity, I guess.
Mhm. Yep. Yang's identity, and then just put in also the Yellow Pages.
Phone
Just
book,
because
yeah.
yeah, because sometimes they do care about the source. So this is just for reference. You are free. So we will. If you want to, we can cover those now. Those questions you have, or we can do it after the montage.
I can move the spotlight somewhere
Okay.
else, and I'll think about
Sure.
if I want to have like
Mhm.
have gone investigated it during the day or not.
Yeah. Sure thing. Sounds great. Who wants? Does anybody wish to volunteer for their?
Oh, me? Is it me next? I think Faith is focused on this
Okay.
case a lot. So she is gonna work the case, but it's also Faith, so she's gonna like get home, make herself some top ramen, using her electric kettle, because it's the saddest way and best way to make top ramen, I believe. Don't make it on that stove. You make it with electric kettle and then you soak the noodles. But anyway,
Yeah.
yes, the best.
I have done this.
Yeah, no, it's the best. It's the
Multiple
best way.
times.
Yeah.
I've actually made ramen in a coffee maker, but we won't talk.
No,
about
I've done that too. But like electric kettle is the best way to do it. Anyway, so she makes.
It's a kettle.
Yeah, electric kettle. So she makes her top ramen. She eats it real quick. She finishes up paperwork that she has to do. She like hits the bed. She wakes up in the morning. She's late to the class she's teaching. She does all these things. She does all the things that she has to do, but then she rushes out as soon as she possibly can to go to the 2 cents offices.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm assuming they have
so-
offices.
Oh yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do. The business card denotes an address. And I will say that you had a very difficult time teaching your class because you left all of your planning tools in the backpack that you lost last night.
In my bag. Yeah. I've grabbed another bag and tossed things in. And I'm like, I need a phone. 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 Shit. I need a phone.
I won't cripple you enough to the point where you lost your cell phone. But
Okay,
I
good.
will
I do
say
have
that
my
you lost
phone.
all the other
Lost everything
other
else.
equipment.
Yeah.
Yes.
So so she has like other bags, but like it's not
Yeah.
as good. It's a little smaller. It doesn't quite fit everything she needs, and she doesn't have everything. But yeah, so she's ill prepared to teach class. It's not a good class. Let's be real. She's late to it, and it's not good. So whatever you want to do with that, if you want me to mark a crack, I already marked a crack for that like last game because it was already started the weekend. But I can mark another one. And then she like runs out of there as soon as possible. I'm sure students are like, Miss Hughes, and she's like gone. And
it's kind of like Indiana Jones, where it's
Yeah.
like you close you have your office hours, you close the door, lock it, like sneak out of the window,
Yeah,
and just be like peace
bounces.
out.
She bounces to go run down and chase this lead because it's like the only thing that's on her mind right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for this, go ahead. You will get 3 clues.
Okay.
The method is going to be investigation, and the source is going to be 2 cents office.
Okay.
And I will tell you that there is a secretary there who will greet you when you are there, and there is the editor in chief, and there is also Richards himself.
Okay. I think that she would ask to speak to Richards.
Okay, so Richards is actually a woman.
Does she
Richard
look
is
familiar? Just a
well.
question.
I'm about to I'm about to show the
Oh.
image to all of you.
Oh,
on roll 20.
nice.
she's dramatically important.
Yes, when
That's
you know how
our
important
tell.
a character must be if the GM has to spend time to make a profile for them. All right.
Ah,
So,
She cute.
Susan,
She's
do you
cute.
recognize where this actress is from?
No, but she's cute. I don't. I should.
I'm
Also
gonna
Once Upon a
I'll get cold
Time.
I'm
water
sure
for
she's
you.
Once Upon a Time, but like I don't remember every face.
I can't help it. They kind of work themselves.
Yeah, they do.
It's a plethora. It's a variety of cast members where I can just choose from at any time.
Oh,
All right.
put it on the Discord, please. Yes. Okay.
Anyways, so Susan's at her desk, and the phone is going off every few seconds, and eventually it gets to a point where Susan eventually you just see Susan visibly yank the phone light out of the phone, and then tosses the phone into the metal trash can.
Hi.
Yes, can I help you?
My name is Faith Hughes, and I was wondering if I could talk to you for a few minutes.
Well, I mean, I have a deadline, but sure, please take a seat while I vigorously type.
Faith is a little awkward at this moment.
So are you here to just admire me, or are you going to actually ask me a question?
Shit. Asshole. Asshole. Okay, no.
Take the risk.
I mean, I'm one of your biggest fans. I read all of your bylines, but other than that, what I really wanted was to ask some questions about a certain ledger that has come into one of my friends' hands. I kind of like
She
gave
actually
a
stops.
Smile.
She actually stopped as you mentioned the ledger. She stops and then like you just see one the corner of her eye just kind of lean towards you, and then the typing resumes a little bit but slower. I was approached a few nights ago, actually a week ago, about a ledger.
Yes.
Are you associated with Chris Roth? And she actually stops for a moment and actually like turns her chair and facing towards you.
No, but my friend is looking for him.
Ah, I see. Well, I can't actually help you then.
Does she at all look familiar in build or anything like that to the person that we encountered the night before?
No,
Okay. All right. So she's not that person. All right.
no. That is a totally different character.
No, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. But for Faith's sake, yeah, they're not the same.
I mean, I would think that someone as vocal about what happens in the city would want to help those fighting against corruption. Am I wrong?
I'll let you go ahead and roll a convinced for me.
Oh.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it does.
It's also, it sounds like me.
Can I use relentless for this?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
That seems appropriate.
I think that seems appropriate here. I will say that let me see here. I want to say interviewing and research will kind of work in here.
Okay.
And I will say that your weakness tag for they know you're coming.
Uh-huh.
there's that element of the reason I'm tagging it is because the way you kind of came out of the blue means that you were looking for something, and
Yeah.
so she knows you want something
Yeah.
from her. So,
Oh,
so she's
Faith
gonna
is
be
not
so.
subtle. Are you?
Oh
you
yeah,
kidding
yeah,
me?
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
Faith often asks a lot of us. It asks us to sacrifice. Attitude. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's an 8.
well, an 8's pretty good. They on a 7 and 9 they give in a little, but protect their own agenda. So she kind of just looks at you for a moment, turns her chair again back and starts typing. Look, I've been doing this for a long time, and I can tell that you are still have a lot to learn if you really want to do real change in this city. So take my advice. There are some things that you're better off not knowing.
I think Faith is just gonna lean in.
Mm-hmm.
At least, I'm not a hypocrite.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Now that sounds like taking the risk now. Go ahead.
How do burn tags work, and how does that?
So if you decide to burn a tag, what that means is that mechanically speaking, you will automatically be treated as rolling a 7,
Oh, okay.
and you will have a power of automatically set at 3.
Okay. Okay.
But you can still gain benefits from statuses, from story tags, and things like that. But I can also tell you, if you want, you can, if you have any juice, you can spend them to create statuses.
Yeah, I don't think I do. At the
Now,
moment.
I don't recall. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think that definitely Relentless is gonna work for this one. Can I
Okay.
use any of my mythos for this as well?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think my heart is my power is definitely behind this.
Okay.
Um,
And I'm trying to think, like, this is a little bit where I feel like even does your wolf come out from this a little bit?
giving into the animal a bit, or one with the wolf, both of them.
I feel like if you decide, I feel like it's a good trade-off if you decide to do one with the wolf, that the weakness tag giving into the animal comes out.
Yeah, I'll do both. Like I think it
Mhm.
flashes in the eyes a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when and like my voice gets a little growly. I like as I
Okay.
lean in. I think that works. I like it.
Okay.
That's an 11.
Very nice. So on a 10 up, you do it somehow. So basically, so for here, so what exact how so being daring in this part, how do you put yourself besides the part of stating, like, besides being a hypocrite?
I think that what Faith is doing is Faith came in and she was like really tongue tied, and this reporter just saw her as just some easy, young, naive person who she could just walk all over. But Faith is like, no, I'm actually older than you are treating me, and actually know more about this world than you think I do, and is like showing her, no, I'm a little bit more than you see, and we'll lean in and let that show. And that's that risk that she's taking, letting the mythos flash across, giving into the animal a bit, and being like, yeah, at least I'm not a hypocrite.
There's a brief moment where she stares you down, and I feel like like because of how vocal and passionate you are, Faith. Like, can I say that you stand up and put your hands on like the desk and everything,
totally, and like lean over.
Yeah.
And I think I grow and maybe grow a little bit too, even though Faith is large. She's not fully going into wolf form, but she grows just a tiny bit in size, like just that little. Yeah, I think that would work. Yeah.
So Susan gets up, and even for you, Faith, there is a moment where even with that hint of your wolver kicking in, there is an element of ferocity hiding behind Susan's eyes when you said that. And she gets up, stares you down for a brief second, and then she goes, "Fine, you know what? It's not, I will not even deal with it. If you find Chris, our deal is still up if he wants to do it. But if you want your friend to go looking for him," she goes into the drawer, pulls out a notepad, and flips through a couple of pages, rips it off to you, and hands it to you. "See if you can find him then." And it's you see that it's written Chris Roth and an address.
Okay.
And then Susan says, "Don't bother trying the telephone. I already tried."
Okay.
And she kind of goes looking at you. "Now, do you mind? I have a deadline to finish."
Thank you for your assistance in this matter. I'll be in touch. And I think that's what she leaves.
Yeah. And as you leave, Susan sits down and lights a cigarette and just starts smoking because it's the 80s and that indoor smoking is a thing. So we're gonna move on from that montage bit to Miri.
So I went back and forth on this for a lot.
Okay.
I chose explore the mythos because I think just the
Ooh.
outburst happening, and I think it still serves our purposes, but I think it's probably a lot more roundabout because her direct mysteries for her two mythos cards are related to like what's happening to people at the hospital, because that's the thing that's I think on her mind the most about this. That it's like, okay, something seems to be involving people at the hospital, but it can't be directly involved, and now it seems like it's becoming more of a thing. So I kind of imagine like she's tried to hide the extent to which like seeing the seed burst come out was exhilarating for her as opposed to just being frightening. I think that's an element she doesn't want to admit.
Ooh, I like that.
So I think there's a moment where she's winding down for bed. There's dishes are still piled up. She's like, it's not going to happen tonight. Goes to her bed, and there's I think she keeps like a little patch of like marigold somewhere that grows that for whatever reason, even if she misses a few days, they just keep staying alive. Like there's something about them where like they should by all accounts be dead a long time ago, but they're somewhere always between life and death, and but they always look like they're thriving. And she always wakes up with weird cuts on like around her elbows and like her shoulders. But I think she falls asleep and she has nightmares. But she's thinking about that in relation to exploring her mythos, because she doesn't like going to sleep because of what's in there.
Okay, so I will definitely tell you for your tracking card, go ahead and give yourself one clue. The method is going to be dreams, and the source is, I'm going to call it the hedge maze.
Oh God! Why did I do this to myself? Why did I do this to myself?
So
I mean, I know.
So Miri, you are in a very unfamiliar place. Well, I shouldn't say that. It looks unfamiliar, but it doesn't feel unfamiliar. And you are surrounded by tall hedges, and the sky is black and gray, and it's quiet. There's mist all over the place. And you wander for a moment trying to understand what is going on And there's some, and I will say, when you're walking through it, the hedges begin to flower, and the grass below you flowers as you walk. And there are, and where you have cuts, bits of blood sometimes will drop, and that is where larger flowers and larger bunches start to gather and accumulate. And as you continue walking down, you think you see a shadow in the distance. And for a brief moment, this figure looks at you and then turns and walks to another avenue. You give chase. The figure is no longer there. You decide to follow the path and see maybe if you can spot them again, or maybe hear their footsteps. When you do continue down, you find a statue. It actually looks like the statue in the fountain that's in the little garden that's in the hospital center. And you see bramble thorns wrapped around it. And you also see what looks to be coffins as well. They're erect, upright, and wrapped around in thorns. And you can see that they are being put into a very intricate arrangement. There are about 10 of them. And as you look around the scene, you feel a quick rumble below you as another coffin emerges out of the stonework, and then also wrapped again in thorns. And then you hear the distinct sound of a coin being flipped. And it comes from behind you. And as you turn, there's a shadowy visage, and you awake.
Well, fuck. It's probably like early morning at this point, and she's just like, well, I'm not sleeping anytime soon.
Might as well just start the shift now.
Basically, she's like, oh well, I can make, like, she's never like missed any like the set hours or shifts she's had, because if she ever does, she just starts it early. You can't be mad if I do the same amount of hours. They're just never the hours you want them at this certain time.
Mm-hmm.
That works, right?
Yep. So after having that harrowing experience, Miri, you do eventually make it to you decide to take an earlier shift at the hospice facilities in the hospital. And I will say, for everybody who spent the day doing something, by the time working hours are more or less done, I'll say that's when you all reconvene again at your little private room in the alleyway. When you arrive, all three of you will be there, but you will notice that Tommy is not there.
Just for clarification, which of the cards should I mark attention for? Do you think
I'm gonna say for this one, go ahead and mark Font of Fauna.
Oh, the Flora one. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, the Flora. Oh, sorry, it was Flora, not Fauna.
Those are two
Those are two different things.
causing
And
animals to rise out of the ground. That's
that
very different.
could be
aura.
interesting. Could
That
be
is-
fun.
I'm putting that in consideration for
Later,
a theme later on. If
could be
if
fun.
things happen, it just at later point, like our mystery is solved because I just enact Thriller.
I love it. I love it
Whoops.
so much.
So, you do get the owner of the bar, who is a rift for the Cheshire Cat, left a note telling you all that Tommy couldn't make it. Has to pull is busy pulling a double at the docks, and also had a very tough day explaining what the heck happened the night before.
I think in unnatural happenstance, Faith is there before everyone else. No, but like way earlier than everyone else.
You've been
Like-
there since like 3 PM
Yeah.
and been day drinking.
Not day drinking, but like she's just literally been sitting there poring over thoughts and like trying to figure things out and looking at Perdita's board. But she doesn't know what she's doing, really, let's be real. But she like is so consumed in this she can't think of anything else. So she's like, I don't like, she's like just somehow gotten caught in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So your montage is over. So we move in. So you're all back at the alleyway to kind of decide mull over what you've gone through, and maybe see where the next steps of your investigation will take you.
So I think Perdita comes down into the basement where Faith
Mhm.
is like pouring over stuff, and she's got 2 drinks in her hands. Like, I bought 2, and then they said that Tommy wasn't coming, so I guess do you already?
Hi.
Slowly walks over. What's going on, bud?
How do
You're
you
not
do,
usually early.
How do you do this? Like, how do you not let it take over your life? Because
What are you talking about? Like everything? Just solving
yeah,
mysteries? and-
yeah. I haven't been able to focus on anything else. It's a weird place for me to be at. I'm not used to this. It's weird. I don't know what's going on.
Slowly presses the drink into your hand. It's like, all right, tell me about it. What are you thinking about? What do you see?
Well, and I think that she'll like recount what happened at the 2 cents office.
Yeah.
And like how she like left her bag there last night, and that's not like her. She always has her bag with her, but now she doesn't have anything that she needs to do her job and like school. But school doesn't even seem that important right now because this seems really important. Like this could actually be something. And then she went to the office and Perdita, I actually let it out a little bit, and I don't know, that doesn't happen with me, so I don't know what's going on. And then and just like lay it out for her, like.
Oh, whoa. Faith. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is this the first time that you're doing something this big?
Probably.
See, to me, every time I hear you talk about what you do, you're helping kids that have fallen through the cracks that the system doesn't want to, which is content to leave behind. You're knocking on doors and you're badgering lawmakers and government officials day in and day out, and you're going to school on top of all of that. Figuring out what's going on with a weird pair of twins and a mysterious shipping company is probably something that you've been preparing for a long time and you didn't even know it.
Huh.
I'm gonna change the game here.
Oh, okay.
I think is
I
the
like
intent of what I'm doing here.
I like
I'm
that.
using my
Alright.
abilities to give my allies an advantage, with the
Okay.
ultimate goal of trying to give Faith like the confidence story tag.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, I can see that.
and directed
How
against
is
insecurity, her insecurity weakness.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel like it's definitely a status. But I can definitely. But go ahead and roll for it, Simon. What are you going to use to roll for it?
I guess I could just spend my juice to do that.
You could. You
Rather
could just
than
spend the
help.
juice to give. Just to
Let's
give.
do that.
Yeah.
That's more fun.
So
I'm gonna spend
how
my
many?
2 juice.
Spend 2 juice. Okay. So Faith, you're going to get a status tag, called confidence boost,
Okay,
and it's set at 2.
how do I track this?
So you're going to go to your character sheet.
Right, done that.
You're going to go down below and you see
Okay.
tracking
Yep.
cards, right? And you're going to choose so for the tracking card, just leave it as a tracking card, which is the plus sign briefcase looking one.
Okay.
Set it to 2 and then label it as confidence boost.
Okay. Cool.
And if you click on the
so-
plus in the bottom right, it should automatically calculate that as a benefit
Mm-hmm.
when you're adding it to a roll.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
So when you scroll back up, it'll add it to your power.
Oh, okay, awesome. Sweet. Okay, cool.
Okay. Thanks for pointing that one out. I forgot about
Oh,
that.
Well,
That's
there's
like
the plus and the minus for whatever
that's
it is.
super-
yeah, but when
helpful to
when
know.
it goes against you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
okay,
those,
that's
there will
awesome,
come
thank
there will come some times in the future.
Cool. Awesome.
So that one I will say, you have that tag, at least for, I want to say, we'll see how long it lasts. I'll definitely say it will last until the next scene for sure.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Cool.
So I want to spend one of my clues. I'm like, that
Okay.
sounds like a lot more interesting than what I did all day. I mean, in addition to, I've got Helen breathing down my neck, asking every 5 minutes, "Where's my brother? Where's my brother?"
Oh,
I've been tracking down Yang through the phone book. So I want to spend my first question. Where does he
Sure.
live?
Okay. So there are 2 Thomas Yangs in the phone book. The first one lives in a very a very small apartment house in the middle of Chinatown. When you visit there, do you visit the apartment itself and like knock on the door, or do you just
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
I
you
think
just
so.
want- Okay, so when you knock on the door, you see a young man answer the door. He looks like in his early 20s, and I won't make you spend clues for asking generic questions, but like you do inquire like, are they Thomas Yang and things like that, and the young man's like, no, that's my dad, but he's out. Can I
Oh.
help you? Who are you?
Yeah, hi. Sorry. I've just been I found probably got something like fabricated for this. Like
Sure.
I think I found his wallet earlier and I've just been running around all time and I just couldn't. She like flashes like a generic beat up leather wallet that maybe she has in her leather jacket.
Yeah.
I've just been trying to figure it out and like somebody went through it and they took all of his cards.
But they kind of go, thanks, but how? But then he kind of goes, but then how did you know it was his if they took everything out of it?
Oh, there was actually a card. Maybe like his
Oh, I'll let you do this
license or
one.
something.
Business
It,
card.
it could be a business card.
Business
a
card,
Shangzhen business card.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
it's
she's
just
got one of
generic
those.
though. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get, because they're not that difficult to acquire. You just made one like really generic looking, and then just kind of like go. I think it has the business card. You don't show the whole business card. You kind of just show like the little edge of it. And he's like, oh, well, he'll at least be happy he got the wallet back. And he'll kind of just go, strange that he would lose it though. He's pretty hard gripped with his wallet.
Yeah, I can imagine when you keep a busy schedule like that, it's probably something you keep really, really close to you. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I ever lost my wallet like that. Jeez. And like while they're talking, she's like trying to like angle in and like take in what of the apartment she can see on the inside.
Okay. I'm going to say for that, what you're gonna do for that one is you kind of manage to peek in just a brief moment. Now, the apartment house itself isn't like the most well kept, right? But the interior is a different story. The interior is much cleaner. You can see that there are some nice leather furniture inside. There is a big TV inside, and then there's also sound equipment, stereo systems. You managed to catch a brief bit of the kitchen countertop, and it looks like that kind of linoleum finish. And you can see that the stove range is also pretty new looking.
Wow. Sorry, I just couldn't help but noticing your place looks so great. I've been thinking about renovating my kitchen recently. How long did that take you guys?
The kid kind of looks at you for a minute. Looks back a bit and then looks at you and it's like, I think it took like 6 months. I don't know. Dad had a bunch of guys come over. You know what? Since you just happened to be nice about the wallet and everything, why don't you come on in and I'll get you a drink or something?
Oh my god, I wouldn't want to take up any of your time. I just, I was just
I'm just a university kid. I live with my parents.
I mean, I know what that's like. I've been down that road myself, and
I just have to finish this political essay for a Dr. Hughes. Whatever, who cares?
My God.
oh yeah, jeez, that sounds like a lot of work. She probably works you like a dog, doesn't she?
Well, yeah.
Jackie, this is who I think it is. I hate you so much.
She's like, listen, I mean, I don't want to take up any of your time, but if you have like a soda or something, I could just take that and I'll get out of your hair right away.
Sure. You actually managed to. He opens the door a lot more now. You can see that the dining table is actually not that far from the actual doorway itself, and it has it's that kind of polished black top, and you can tell that it's like that polished. It has another polished look to it as well. Black chairs, pretty tall. There's the armoire with like multicolored platters and fine china on it, and then the refrigerator. The kid opens up and you can see that it's like fully stocked. Pulls out a bottle of Coke and kind of hands it off to you. And you can see that there's also like a hallway near the center of the apartment itself and you can see 2 other rooms. Both of them, the doors are closed.
So she's like taking a small pull. So it's you said you were living at home, right? It's you and your mom and your dad. Sounds kind of nice. It's always nice to be around family.
Oh, it's just my dad and I.
Oh, sorry. I assumed, that's like kind of the way that we're trained, to assume that like families work a certain way. It's just.
Oh, no, it's fine. No, parents had a divorce.
Oh. Was it messy?
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff being thrown at my dad.
Oh. Yeah, I bet you had to spend a lot to clean the whole place up. But it looks great. It looks like the 2 of you have a nice place and a nice, comfortable living.
I mean, Dad's job kind of does that for us, but not much else.
So I guess I want to spend a clue to kind of like back it up. It looks like this whole place was just like completely renovated, right, from top to bottom in like
few months,
and like recently completed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the stuff in here is new, like including the dishware and everything.
Yeah, well, maybe not the fine china, but definitely like everything else looks pretty new because you can see that there are like some dishes and plates on like the side, and they look pretty nice. Like it's definitely that awkward feeling of why is everything inside of an apartment condominium this nice compared to the outside of it, which is whoa.
Right. Um,
And I will say, for a point of reference of 1980s in terms of price range, a Sony stereo and Bose sound system would have cost
Oh.
about $2,300.
Expensive.
So just FYI, because I know this because my dad had bought them in 1980 for that price. So also, I can tell you that the sound synthesizer from Yamaha in 1980 would have cost you about $950,
Mhm.
and and then see, it's the 80s, so it would only have been probably a 30-inch TV as your big screen at that time, and that would have also netted cost you for Mitsubishi about $250 to $8. So
Yeah,
it's not
so
cheap.
there's a lot of money that went into
There-
this place.
And when we talk about, like how much that would cost
Your fun
now,
factoids from the 80s.
yeah,
that's like thousands of dollars now. So like,
Yeah.
just-
We're-
yeah.
It's like It's
Yeah.
like noticeably disproportionate amount of wealth is put into this place in
Into this
comparison to
one
everything
place.
around it.
Yeah.
right. Which is a big clue.
Yep.
And then I think my last clue is like less direct to him, but more like I'm looking for any other information that ties back to the shipping company. Like
Okay.
there's pieces of mail or something lying around, or like
So
that kind of
you
thing.
don't see any kind of mail, but you do see something else. You see a tapestry that's not far from I would say, so there's the armoire right next to the dining table, right? And right next to the armoire is kind of like a art scroll. So it's about 16 inches long, so it's not really, because that's a standard Asian art scrolls around that length. And you can see that it depicts a kind of a monkey on it, a mountain monkey to be exact. And so it's a monkey in the center, and there's some mountain ranges around it, and that there also seems to be some little bit of trees around it. But you notice that it's really catching because the monkey itself has like a very yellowish goldish tint to it. And then you start noticing there's a little small golden monkey statuette on the kitchen countertop. And then you start noticing that there's a kind of like really kind of abstract art mosaic of like what looks like, now catching, you realize it looks like a monkey.
it's a lot of nice stuff in here. Wow, gosh, and oh wow, I never really learned as much as I should about what other people believe. I'm just kind of like, it's all been up in the air. Like, I don't know if there's a big guy in the sky or anything like that, but this monkey sure is cool.
The kid kind of goes, "Yeah, I'm to be honest, I'm an atheist. I don't really care, but I will say that this is stuff that my dad's cared about. He's always had these things around. He got them from his. He got one of them from, and he points to the little monkey statue. He says, he goes, yeah, he actually got that from I think his boss.
Wow,
Used
what a
to,
nice gift.
Yeah, we used to go to like this little temple, and during the spring and the fall, we don't go anymore now, but I used to remember that as a kid.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun. It's great to have memories from childhood like that. Listen, thank you so much for the soda. I've taken way too much of your time. And she hands the wallet over with the business card in it. She's
Okay.
like, it's been a pleasure. Stay in school. Education's the best thing that you can do for yourself. She like takes the soda and like slips out. I want to tick my own weakness box. First of all, because it was suspicious as hell. And like, damn, I don't know what that boy's doing, but that boy's not going very far in life if he's that trusting.
Yeah, poor naive baby.
I just need to come in and check your gas levels. I need access to your basement.
Oh, Thanks for
I'm gonna
bringing
take
that.
my iconic outfit because I'm wearing that like blue and white
I
kind of
Yeah.
love
rockabilly dress.
it.
I've got the
Oh,
like the
God.
bleached ends. It's like
I love
I'm not
it.
being subtle.
I love it
No,
so
you're
much.
not.
I feel like
No.
one could flash back to like later on the back of that business card, like it's her
Mhm.
phone number or something.
Yeah.
When the guy
yeah.
inevitably comes back and is like, "You opened the door for some lady who is supposed to give me my wallet when I have
Yep.
my wallet right here."
Yep.
What's
What the hell
wrong
were
with you?
thinking?
Well, I can't wait because between the backpack and that, oh, I have so many hard moves stacked
I
for
know,
you all.
it's the worst.
I just the moment you said monkey, I felt the deepest, most primordial scream have to be contained within me.
You
I'm
know,
just like, get the
this
fuck
was
out,
me.
get the
What,
fuck
you don't
out,
want to get in
the
a fist
fuck
fight
out.
with Sun Wukong?
This is me. I was like, holy shit,
Why
why
would
did
you
that
wanna
take
get in
me so long to figure out? He said monkey like 18 times. I was like, oh my god.
Why the fuck? No. I want to answer that question with my own question. Why the fuck would you want to get in a fist fight with some Wukong? This will not end well for you.
Ah.
It would definitely be interesting though.
So she's back at that flashback. I think cuts back to the bar.
Mhm.
She's like, I mean, it's just a kid, but
What was
I don't
that
know, that
kid's
puts-
name?
I don't
Martin.
think that name.
yeah, I didn't ask for his name.
He's going to eventually become. I will say that he might decide to drop his major and go for something different.
Yeah, he really needs to.
She's going through everything like, yeah, I don't know. There's something else going on in that place. By the
Oh,
way, you should start grading on a curve.
I already do.
Well, maybe you should stop.
Ah. Okay. Like this
No
is like,
reason.
okay.
Oh, my stomach hurts so much right now.
Anyway, I got an address, I think, and I'll push the paper across the table to Perdita that I got from Susan Richards.
Susan.
my
Snatches it up.
my new hot nemesis. How I've decided to dub her that.
Rivals to lovers.
Yeah, no, I'm just calling her hot nemesis in my brain. That's how Faith.
No, that's what we're referring to. The situation.
Oh, okay, fair. Faith has decided to dub her hot nemesis in her brain.
Mhm.
She said don't try the number because it doesn't work.
Perdita's like slowly putting down the handle on a phone. Great.
Never
Probably
meet
a
your
wrong.
heroes. Just don't.
This is about the time that Miri would show
Yeah,
up.
but-
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's what I was about to say. This is about, yeah, she's coming in. She's probably wearing like general like cardigan, and if it's been like cold weather, she has like a red scarf on, and like, she's probably trying to hide it, but like around like especially like her elbows, I think she's probably had a couple of cuts that even though they've been healing like throughout the day, like at a really weird rate, there's probably still like a little bit of like occasionally like there's the stains like have gone through her clothes and she hasn't noticed because she's been in the middle of trying to handling things and she's been kind of frayed all day because
Oh, I think I want to. I think it's story appropriate that while you are working, like every so often you will look into the center garden in the hospital, and just think back to the dream you had.
Yeah, that's why she's particularly frayed today. She's just like she has that like she has a 500-yard stare. She's not quite at 1,000 yet, but she's somewhere around there.
I'll notice. I think Faith will notice this and like, I'm gonna go get drinks. I'll be back, and then like we'll run out the door, run upstairs, and go get those Long Island iced teas that Mitty really likes.
Meaty downs way more alcohol than I do because she can actually take it. I'm a lightweight. Meaty is not. Meaty looks like a
Yeah,
lightweight.
but
Meaty
it's
is
not.
not.
We'll just go get drinks and bring them back.
Well, I might have a lead or something to follow up.
Looks like it cost you a little something to get.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Oh God. Oh boy. She like takes off her glasses and she's just like sitting and like there's probably like this faintest bit of glow that of course she doesn't notice, but like there's always like flowers in her section of the basement, and like there's just like any that were like drooping just like go up just the faintest bit. To anyone else around her notices, she's just like not, she never notices whenever that happens. She's just like, oh yeah.
Perdita hops up on the arm of like a shitty couch that's down here, and she's like slowly kicking her legs, kind of in the air, with her hands pressed up against it. Like,
I think that Faith would
You
just
wanna
move
talk
close,
about it?
yeah, and just do that touch thing again that she does. Just
Yeah, yeah. So apparently death is following me around somehow.
isn't
Something
that your
about,
job?
I mean,
Oh, you meant like metaphorically.
she like gets she like goes to the wall, and like I'm imagining Perdita is still the kind of person who like if she's disorganized enough that there's a section that she hasn't cleared of like dead ends, she just like crumbles up a couple of pieces of the paper and like sticky notes and just like hucks it at you.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, yes.
Several. It doesn't help with there's two other folks who passed too today.
Mhm.
It's so yes, death is my job more than usual. Should I? Okay, I'm sorry.
Perdita
Like
like grabs.
she starts to get mad, and then when she realizes she's actually sticking up for herself, she immediately like
Oh
sinks
no.
back
Oh
down.
no!
Perdita makes a big show of like trying to get her attention, and then like goes, yeah, like fakes the zip, does like the key, and then like tosses the key over her shoulder, and just like sits.
So okay, so I've been trying to ignore these for a while. I probably shouldn't at this point because they're obviously mean something. But well, the hospital I think is connected much more directly, and so I saw Maze, and I basically like go through the whole like dream like details in full, and the all the thorns and everything. Yeah, I think she also does also mention the blood and the flora stuff. I think she hesitates, but she also ends up saying it because I think she's intrigued by. She knows Perdita will probably poke her anyways about anything else you leaving out. Are you sure? You sure?
She's trying really hard not to be picky and like prying, but
But also weakness.
she wants to know.
Yeah, no, she brings it all up. So, well,
yeah.
yeah.
I want to say cinematically. So cinematically, what happened? So as Miri retells the events of the dream and the maze, the moment, like cinematically, what happens is the moment Miri mentions the waking up to the sound of the coin flipping, the comic book panel emerges where again it's a hand flipping a coin in midair and then returning back to the scene of all of you in the basement of the alleyway.
It's like I'm kind of imagining it as like the coin flips up in the air, and then as it falls down, the like camera shot shifts over to like one of the like ice cubes in the Long Island iced tea just kind of dropping from her, like just like drinking from the straw, trying to like suck up as much of it as she can, and she's just like almost inhaling like bits of ice cubes, and then it drops back down. It's like, oh, Oh man. I would really. Something. The hospital's involved, and it seems like in a really bad way. Any luck on your end?
Oh, go ahead.
Faith's got a hot date.
No. No.
She cute?
And she'll lean over.
That's a yes.
She's also not nice. I think
Like which, and like, I like to imagine there's a bit of like she's probably complained enough to folks at this point about like her administrative folks she's had to
Mhm.
like do bullshit with. So he's like, so are we at like a Roberts? Are we at a Jefferson, or are we at a David's? And she like puts the hand like way up, and she's like, this is like the head of the hospital who's a douchebag.
Oh, actually, the head of the hospital is Walters.
Oh.
Walters. Okay, Walters.
I
Are we
mean,
Walters?
is anyone quite a Walters? Is that even possible?
I
Walters, yeah.
think more and more people. I think every day, but
Fair.
lower end, higher end, where are we at?
I don't know yet, but she's anyway. And I think that she'd say, we've got an address maybe for Chris, so we might be able to find him. I don't know. She wasn't very helpful, and she is not at all what I thought she would be like. You know, you think these reporters are like passionate defenders of what's right, but she was not. And anyway, I think that's what Faith would be like. And then she's like, but I looked into a couple things when I was there. Because I have 3 clues attached to the
Mhm.
2 cents, right?
Mhm.
I think that I could have looked into stories about the hospital. I think that would have been interesting. So, like, were
Okay.
there any stories? Like, if I had talked to the secretary and looked into like back issues, were there any stories relevant to the hospital?
Recently, other than a very generous grant that was given,
Oh, okay.
there hasn't been
That's good to
anything
know.
that new.
Generous grant from who?
Oh, from the owner of the pharmaceutical, the owner of the healthcare group that owns the hospital. He runs multiple charitable foundations, and so he's putting his own charitable foundation money into his own businesses. If you notice.
Ew, that's so gross.
Thank you, Jackie. I hate it.
It's a write-off,
You're
baby.
I hate it so much. Ew.
Yes, the exact tagline is, the exact headline is, Elysium pays 12 million to Cypress Grove. Scandal. And Elysium is a nonprofit organization that handles end-of-life services.
That's shady. If it's handling end of life services and more people are dying, right?
It's mostly the according to the article number, it also mentioned that it was regarding the fact that the hospital needed more beds and facilities and also equipment to handle the influx of more patients apparently going through terminal illness and end-of-life care.
We're all doing that. Like I can't even. I'm not even looking at our cameras. And I can feel all of us doing the like gears turning. Like, this is suspicious.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
the
just so
fry
you
meat.
know, the owner of said pharmaceutical company, a healthcare company, actually is not the owner of the nonprofit, but is a major contributor of said nonprofit.
Who's the owner of the nonprofit? Do I need to use one of my clues for that?
It doesn't. All it will give you for the name is a Heather. Is I think the last name they would get that you would find is like a Summers is the name. But the contributor in question is also the owner and CEO of Cypress Inc., which is the healthcare service company. whose name is Henry Darien.
That's a douchebag name.
You're welcome. I did do that intentionally. Also, please enjoy this little snapshot.
Oh my god.
Why'd you have to make him cute though? Why you gotta do this to me, Jackie?
I like to hurt people in many ways.
You're a terrible, terrible man. I appreciate this. His that's the name for he's the one who is the head of Cypress Inc. or
Yeah, he's the CEO and owner of Cypress Inc., which is an expansive healthcare services company. He is also the owner of a Memphis luxury hotel located in the downtown area of the city.
owner of a hotel?
Yes.
What a mogul.
Yes, Henry Darien, and the entry for the fans, for the listeners and viewers of our show, Henry Darien is a respectable business owner, entrepreneur, and philanthropist. He owns the Amenthus Luxury Hotel located in downtown. He is also the owner and CEO of Cypress Inc., an expansive healthcare services company, as well as the major contributor of Elysium, a non-profit organization for end-of-life services. He is very methodical, pragmatic, and despite his busy schedule, listens to those under his employment with care. From his notable and charitable donations, he also invests in the city's infrastructure and community outreach programs. He is very well respected, and whenever you use an amenity or service within the city, you could be sure to thank Mr. Henry Darien.
Yeah.
The face squirms. The face squirms.
Yeah, Kate and I are no, actually, I think all three of us are in similar ranges of like.
I don't like it.
Something's off. One last thing, because I know we might be heading to break very shortly.
Yep.
So was the clue overall just the having the specified location I recognize of that statue in the hospital? Just to clarify on the clue from the dream.
The clue. Well, so you have a clue waiting for you to spend, but I just gave you the gumption of there is a connection to the to that. But you didn't spend the clue because it involves a specific. I will say that this is the location. You can tell it's familiar to you, but in terms of you spending that clue regarding when you use it for that source and that type of information, that's how you spend the clue. So if it involves the dream or somewhere around the hospital, we'll let you use it there.
Okay, so it'd have to be something a little bit more direct, or doing information scouting that involves playing off something from the dream. Okay.
Right. Is there anything else we want to do before we before we go for break and maybe decide where you all want to go to investigate?
I don't know what to do with my other two clues, so I'm just gonna wait on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but you do have a lead. You do have an address to supposedly Chris's apartment, so maybe that can give you some more clues to maybe figure out, one, where is Chris, and two, maybe what is why is the ledger so important? Why is this ledger still so important? Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap and go to break for a little bit, and we'll be right back, everybody, in about 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so just stick around, everybody.
We'll see you soon. Go.
Oh, hi, everybody. We're back. So, So where we left off from break was that our crew had spent some time during their montage to gather some information, search through their mysteries, and kind of also do a lot more investigation on for the case that they're working on, which is still at the moment to find Chris Roth, who has been missing, and apparently is the center of some kind of grander scheme that currently involves a found shipping manifest ledger, where a lot of the shipments have been leading to the Cypress Grove General Hospital. And many of those packages have been signed off by a Thomas Yang. And apparently, at some point, Chris was supposed to contact a reporter from the 2 Cents tabloid named Susan Richards, but never showed. So through that effort, the crew has acquired an address for Chris Roth's last known residence, and for the most part, you all have more questions than answers.
It's very fitting of our genre.
Mm-hmm.
Always. So I will. Am I safe to assume that you all make your way to Chris's apartment?
Are we? Yeah. Are we taking the bitch and buy van?
I mean, we have to.
Yeah. I'm just asking.
We don't have to,
it's-
actually. If we want to be quiet about it, we shouldn't.
Are we quiet?
Whatever you want.
This is the question. One question is, are we quiet? And two, is it quite the same if all 4 of us aren't there?
No, because we don't have our driver. It's just not
We
the
take
same.
a cab.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take
I
a
mean,
cab.
Or to take
Okay.
cab instead of public
Or like
transit.
public transit.
I take
let's
public
take
transit
a bus.
everywhere.
Take a bus and walk.
Yeah.
Because I
All
can
right,
always get us
so-
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you take the bus, it is going to be so you're going from out the alleyway is on the edge of downtown. The apartment address, according to what you've looked at, is actually located in the center of Midtown. So it's going to take about 5 stops to get there.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's only gonna, and bus fare in the 80s was like what, 50 cents
Yeah,
in
it was
the
so
metropolitan area.
Tops.
Yeah, I'm thinking actually no. Yeah, it was about 45 cents in metropolitan New York in the early 80s, I think. Something like that. All right.
I have a bus pass. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, you're a grad student.
I don't have a car. I have a bus pass. This is my bus pass.
Oh wait, I made myself older, so I actually might have a car. Shit, I never made.
Do you
I've never had
drive?
to
I
think
mean, we're a
about
big
this.
city, though. Do you drive? Is the question.
Or do you just
No,
walk?
I'm not saying I drive.
Oh.
I have one. I'm not saying I drive anywhere. I'm just saying I have one.
That's fair. So I will say you all eventually take the bus to get to the stop closest to the address that you're supposed to be at. And when you get there, let me actually get to the right spot here because this is actually further up in my document. All right. The apartment's located in an old area of Midtown in the center. The apartment house is pretty run down as well. Definitely needs some renovations, but you can tell that like the roof has been renovated. Not recently, but it looks newer than the rest of it. And you can tell that other buildings adjacent to it have been experiencing some level of renovation, whether full scale or partial renovation. And I will say for our activists here, Faith, you recall that this was an area that was an attempt for the city to revitalize as a part of a revitalization project about 8-10 years ago.
Okay, so
it was
when we say
it was funded.
revitalization, are we talking gentrification, or are we talking something else?
No, just the buildings.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. But no, it was literally just to bring back some of the beauty back into this
Okay.
area because it's an historic
Like
area.
historic revitalization.
Yeah, it's but it kind of got half abandoned
Because
partway
they
through.
ran out
so
of money.
money,
Blah blah
blah
blah. No
blah,
one cared anymore. Yeah.
blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
So, so the project stopped once funding stopped. And the address has Chris's apartment. It's a 4-story building, and Chris's apartment's on the 3rd floor.
Is it a walk up?
Yeah, there's steps to walk up to the center. And I will say, for the most part, when you look through the address bank on the mailboxes on the side, you see a Roth right there on the 3rd floor. and you can easily open the door, and it'll lead you to a set of staircase, heading up. And when you reach the where the apartment's supposed to be, the door is definitely closed.
Ready to stick your nose where it doesn't belong?
Yeah.
Never.
I will add
This is kind
that
of fun.
if Perdita, you're gonna check. I'm assuming you're gonna check the door. I'm assuming Perdita.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll notice right away the door is not locked.
You don't want to knock first? I don't think we should knock.
She's just gonna like creak the door open a little bit and see if she can see anyone inside or hear
Well,
anyone.
So as the minute you crack that door open, your nose is instantly assaulted by the smell of very decayed and rancid groceries and foods.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, this
The
is really
energy-
bad.
Oh,
Oh.
You-
Oh, no,
you-
this is so bad for me.
You okay?
No,
Oh,
no,
'cause
no,
you're
no,
a
no.
dog.
No, because my character.
Oh,
I'm
oh,
like a-
okay,
No, no,
okay.
no, no.
connected
I'm
to a
fine.
dog.
I'm
You got them
connected
dog
to a
senses.
dog. Oh.
Oh god.
You did this to yourself,
I
Kate.
know. I just realized how bad this is for her at this moment.
Oh, it probably hits Faith before it hits Perdita too. You're like, don't open that, and she's already. Why? What? Oh,
Oh.
The interior
Mary's
is very...
in phase. She's smells way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work around people who are dying. I smell worse.
It's like there is a smell to death.
yeah.
There is.
If there's anyone in here, I don't know if he's gonna be in one piece, or if he's at least
We'll-
walking around.
So you creak the door a little bit more, and you can see that the interior of the apartment is very messy. And I don't mean mess. It's messy in the sense that clearly whoever lived here did not attempt to keep this place that clean. But also, you instantly start noticing that it is very disheveled, and then you notice that there are some furniture turned over, some bookshelves have been turned over. You see, and as you creak the door further and further open, you notice that the couch has been the at least the cushions have been overturned. The bookshelf, the shelves are no longer even attached to the bookshelf. They're kind of broken down. There are books all over on a pile. You can see that several garbage bags have been overturned and spilled over. You see that the fridge is half open. The light is off now, but you can see that like the food inside of it was moved around. The pantry doors on the cabinets above it have been opened. Everything is showing. And you can see that there is a small little doorway leading towards what you assume to be a bedroom that also has the door wide open. And then there's the one window that connects towards the outside.
What are they looking for?
Maybe the
That's a
ledger?
great question.
Well, you all can spend some time investigating if you so desire.
I think we should.
You may go ahead. Whoever wants to roll some investigation is free to do so. Room-wise, there's a living room and there is a bedroom, just for everyone's point of reference.
This is a very weird question, but I swear it's relevant. What kinds of groceries do I see that indicate? Has it been mostly like produce, or has it been like meats and like dairy stuff, or what is?
Meats and dairy. There are some vegetables, but more meats than vegetables. I would say it's things like some of it looked like it was like from prepackaged food. Some of it has been also raw food as well, and then there's also things like sausages and salamis and things like that. And then there's also there was a little glass jug of milk that has clearly spoiled.
Was this all like tossed
Because you
out
can
of
see
the
the
fridge?
separation of the whey
Yeah.
and the curds in the whey by this point.
Has it been tossed out of the fridge, like someone was looking through the fridge for something, or
Mhm. Yep.
Oh,
what would be in the fridge?
so it's not like he forgot to put his groceries away.
Yeah.
No, it's like straight up someone's been like ransacking the entire place, including like Faith is saying, the
Yeah,
fridge. Why
okay.
the fridge? Like what? Who has been looking through here, and what are they looking for?
um, so because the senses are so honed, because Faith is her
Mhm.
mythos is a wolf. I think that what she's going to use to investigate is those senses, and she's going to look for things that are not sense that would be normal in this scene.
Okay. All right. I will say there you do get a negative status, right? So you could put that on your character sheet. There's a negative status right now of, I'm just going to put it as smelly, because there's obviously the scent of garbage and other very pungent things, so that will still interfere with your
Mhm.
your your normal senses.
Okay.
So it would be a negative. That would be considered a -2 for you.
Is that for everybody or just Faith?
I will say for Faith, everyone else, go ahead and give yourself a status for at one power, and it's going to be just, I'm going to call it messy, because the apartment's very messy. It's very disheveled. There's also bits of odd smells, so that could make you harder to think things through or concentrate, especially when you think
Do we
about
put this
things
under-
like I would say this would be a story tag.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a story tag. So what that the image you're going to choose is the hold on, is the one that looks like a little gift tag that's right on the right side of the tracking card. So it would be the third from the left.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just curious because I was
Mhm.
wondering if that affects Meaty at all, because under one of her powers, under one of her power tags under seat entries, she's resistant to noxious fumes. I'm assuming
right.
this is somewhere around there. I downgraded this from resistant to just anything poisonous to just fumes. I imagine this
Okay.
might fall under that.
It would. So what it would be, so in mechanic rolling, you would use that power tag
To
to
get it back.
counteract that. Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Because I was trying to think. I had to think because I wanted to help Faith in some way. Well, actually, I wanted to help Faith and Perdita. Could I try? Because I was thinking like of how she might spread the seed aura around the place, not to necessarily like cause things to grow, but to
Okay.
maybe spread that, protect like her own resistance to the fumes, like just dampen the place temporarily with like a smell of like marigolds or lavender.
Okay, I think that's a change the game.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's why. Like I was trying
Yeah.
to see if I could do that to help the two of
Yeah.
them with their, because I think she's
That might-
not fazed by any of the smell, but she also
Sure.
is anxious as fuck being here.
Okay. So what you can do when you do the change the game, you can when you roll for it, and then after you whatever however many juice you get, you can spend that juice to, like, say, burn this tag.
Gotcha. That's what I.
So
That's
that's
what
how
I
you would
figured would
do.
be it.
Mhm.
Okay, so it would be change the game. So that would be. So that's using the protective aura of seeds as one power tag. So the
Mhm.
resistant to fumes to get rid of the smell for her.
Mhm.
I don't know if anything in. I don't know if unyielding compassion for others works for or center the suffering works for helping friends. Would you allow the compassion one? For
I will.
Brens?
Yeah, I think it's because you care and you're just thinking. I think it's initially not even just about helping the investigation. It's just more about like you feel so bad for Faith at this moment, just having to deal with this.
Yeah, I feel like she knows it's like I'm immune to it, but I'm a weirdo who works literally around people dying. So to anyone normal, quote unquote, in giant air quotes, this is like hell, and to Faith is probably even worse. So okay, so that's change the game with +2 power overall.
Mhm.
Gonna see what that nets us. That gets us. That's a 10.
That's a 10. So you actually get 2 juice. So if
Okay.
you want, you can do if you want to, you also get additional choices too. But if you want, you can burn that tag for messy and smelly.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think that's what she'll do. I think it'll
Okay.
just be like uh she has like almost like a little patch, like it's along
Hmm.
like top that she wears where she has almost like little wrappings around just around her elbow because occasionally like it's very easy for the cuts to open up again. They never bother her, but they just open up, so she just lets a little bit of it go into her hands,
Ooh.
rubs it together, and then just sort of like blows on it, and it becomes like a little whirlwind of like marigolds and lavender. So the smells just mixed entirely for the
All
room.
right.
And
So
so I'll do that
yeah.
to burn the messy, so that won't apply to any of us. And I'm gonna make it ongoing, so it
Okay.
just won't interfere at all with us doing this.
Sounds great. So that's I will say for the sake of mechanical expediency, the messy and the smelly will be kind of overwritten by this
Yeah.
tag. All right, so we don't have to worry
Sweet.
about that now.
Yep.
So there's a great grittier process of it, but it literally results in that tag is no longer relevant anymore. So
Yeah.
so
I
now
didn't I didn't think this tag would ever be helpful.
see. Faith, you're no longer assaulted by the stench of absolute rot and probably other filth, and you're now your nostrils are filled with the scent of marigold and lavender. You're muted.
I accidentally hit mute on my mic. Why did I do that? Who
Yeah.
am I? What am I even
That's-
doing
that-
today?
Yeah, that's how Meaty's helping. She's just like keeping close to the door, and she's just like, I hope this helps.
Okay, so I think it does. Faith, you're no longer assaulted by marigold, and you're now assaulted. Your nose are now filled with marigold and lavender,
That's better than stinky groceries.
and probably weeks old laundry.
Oh, that's the worst smell. So I think Faith is going to use her senses to see
Mhm.
if she can find anything out of place in what would be this
Okay.
in this apartment. Perdita is good at the investigating and finding things with eyes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Faith is going to use the senses,
Okay.
the smell.
So go ahead and roll for the investigate for that then,
I'm gonna
because
do
it'll be 2 different investigates.
yeah, one with the wolf, and I'm gonna do relentless. I don't think any other tags. Oh, I'm gonna use my confidence boost if that works, because she's like,
Yeah.
psychic yourself.
Yeah.
She's like, Perdita said I could do this. I'm good at this. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. No, I believe will work. That is perfectly valid.
Okay, so
That is perfectly valid for here.
investigate. That's a 14.
Nice.
Jesus.
I rolled a 10 before the +4.
Very nice. Okay, so what was? Let me just check here. So you had a power of 4. Holy cow. So you get 4 questions, and there's no complications. And I'm going to say for the source, it's going to be Chris's apartment. The method is smell, scent specifically, or sense of smell. So just make sure you denote that it's the apartment and the sense of smell
Yeah,
for the tag for the clues.
yeah. Does
So it has to relate to sense of smell, and it
Yeah.
has to relate to the apartment.
Do you want to roll Simon, so we can piggyback on this, or do you
Coordinate
wanna...
some stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I'll
Yeah.
do an investigation at
Yeah.
the same time because she's like snapped
Yeah.
on some gloves and she's like going through like, well, someone
Mhm.
was in the fridge. What's in the fridge? What's like, what are the papers around here?
Sounds good.
So I'm using my perpetual curiosity and
All
my
the
private
curiosity.
investigation.
Mhm.
Can I also invoke the divide and conquer tag here
Yeah,
from our
totally.
crew?
Oh yeah, I
Totally.
It's good. That's a good one though. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
And
totally
I think
could
those
work.
are the only 3 things that I can really reasonably hit.
Okay.
But I will risk because it's fun and I like
More questions than
it.
answers.
More questions than answers.
Well, make sure to note that attention, and then don't
Yep.
forget to note you get an upgrade for that later.
I do. That filled me up.
Yep.
Also, Jackie,
okay.
did that give attention when I used either of those? I'm just trying to remember how attention when it
So
actually
it-
happens. It's usually
so
you
it-
who has to be triggering it, right?
Well, no, it's either you invoking your weakness tags or
Weakness, right.
right. So it's usually your weakness tags that invoke the attention usually.
Got it.
You did get one for your you did get one for your font of flora because you
For
were
the dream.
exploring your mythos. Mhm.
Yeah.
Did I get one for giving into the animal in the office?
Yes, I
Okay.
marked it on yours already.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
you didn't do it, so I did it for you already.
Oh, okay. Because I thought I already had an attention there, but no, I had an attention on the other one. That's right. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So, any other tags, Perdita?
I think those are the 3 that I'm gonna
Okay.
ping, and I just refreshed the Roll20 because I was
Oh,
not
okay.
getting a click.
Oh, yeah. I
Um,
didn't see anything come up.
Yeah, all right, let me double check. Open my character sheet again now that I've just refreshed it. This makes for great TV.
It's the best.
It's all the suspense.
Everything's
What
already
will
tagged.
happen next?
All right, here we go.
So the cinema. Oh, okay, a 9. Interesting. All right. So, okay, so you're gonna get a power of 2. So your source and method. The source is Chris's apartment. The method is going to be, I'm gonna call it forensics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, standard forensics. And then and you have 2 for the clues. You have 2 questions for that. In terms of, because you rolled a 7 and 9, I get to choose something as well. And I think it's going to be, your investigation is going to expose you all to danger.
Mm.
That doesn't
Makes
surprise
sense.
me though, but it makes sense. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
same.
You've all been pretty. I've been very lenient so far, so I think it's
You've
time.
been very kind, Jackie.
What are consequences? Consequences for my actions?
I asked this
What?
about the groups that I run games for all the time.
Consequences.
Consequences. All right. So between both of you, you have 6 clues worth
Jesus.
to mull me through.
Yeah. What physical objects are people looking for?
Oh, so just so everyone knows, there's 2 rooms: the living room and the bedroom in this apartment. So if you want to decide to venture to different rooms, just let me know.
Yeah. I guess then I should be very specific about this then, right? What does it look like someone's...
It definitely looks like someone has ransacked this place, because there's that moment of going, okay, there's untidiness, and then there's, no, this is not untidiness.
Yeah. So yeah, why is someone rooting around in the fridge?
Okay, so you're looking through the fridge. There is a lot of food stuff that's been tossed out of it, and then there's other things that have been kind of leaned over. And it looks like they tried really hard to look through everything, including even the ice tray. The ice tray is not even on anymore, and you can see that the ice has been thrown out. There's a small little puddle nearby, and you see the ice tray kind of tipped over. So you're kind of under the gumption that they even looked at the ice tray, trying to see what they were looking for.
Huh.
You do. I will say this: you do see around the kitchen area. You do for and I will spend your clue for that because you're asking around relatively around the refrigerator. So that counts towards your clue. You do notice that there are stacks of 2 cents on the kitchen.
Okay.
Oh,
So I
like
think
okay.
The tabloid.
The tabloid.
yeah. So she's like poking around in the fridge and like looking at the freezer, and then looks over the stack of papers and calls over to Faith like, it's like this. Looks like Chris is also a fan of your favorite author. And just gestures at the stack. Maybe she moves to the bedroom from
Okay.
there.
All right.
I think I would sniff around
Um,
the area and see if there's any scent in that specific area
Yeah,
that
go for it.
stands out oddly or different than what you would expect
Okay.
in an area like that.
All right. In the bedroom, I'm
no,
guessing.
no, in the kitchen, because that's where
Oh, okay.
Perdita was looking. So I think I would
Okay.
cooperate
Alright,
with her
so-
in this look. Yeah.
Okay. So for the smells for the kitchen and everything else, I will say that there isn't anything too out of the ordinary here. It's pretty standard. It's all like rotten food and everything else.
Mhm.
You smell also like the you also smell like the tabloids because
Mhm.
even tabloids have a scent of smell
Mhm.
from the inks and the printing process. And I will say for your clue, I will say if spending a clue here, what you can do is you will notice that your nose kind of draws over, and it's a smell you start recognizing, but it's not a smell that you initially recognized, and that is because it's coming from the time you actually were shown a photo of Chris, because Perdita had a photo of Chris in in her folder
Mhm.
in the start of our investigation, right? And it was
Mhm.
it was one handed by Helen. So what you're smelling is the scent of either Helen or Chris, because it's a very familiar smell, and you're noticing that it's kind of drawing you towards um, a little table next to the kind of semi turned out sofa,
Okay.
and you notice that there is a photo of what you assume is Helen because it's a woman on there, and there's also an older man about in his mid to late 40s, who you recall just from the last picture you saw of this man is Chris, and they're together, and you recognize the park behind them. It is Lewis Park.
Lewis Park. Okay.
Hmm. And they seem very happy in that photo. And and Chris is wearing a baseball jersey, has a baseball bat on their side, and also has a catcher's mitt, or a baseball mitt, technically speaking, because a catcher's mitt's actually specific. But
And does the baseball jersey have any denotation on it that's specific, or?
it looks like it doesn't belong to any specific, like it looks like it's one of those kind of like fan favor, kind of like like non-associated leagues. It's like
Okay.
it's one of those, like that sort of thing.
Okay. And do Helen and Chris look to be about the same age, or?
Yeah, relatively.
Okay.
I mean they're in their 40s.
Okay.
And for Perdita, when you get to the bedroom, you see that the mattress is overturned, and clothes are scattered all around the bed. The bed is unmade, obviously. There's a small little closet, and inside there, all the clothes are kind of just dumped to the ground, and the mattress is overturned part way through, like it's been turned, like it seems like someone looked underneath at one point, and there's a dresser with the drawers all opened and they're emptied.
So she's just like walking around trying to like get a sense for everything. Um, what we know about Chris is that he works for the shipping company. I don't, in character yet, know that he's like a sports guy.
Mhm. But
What
oh,
was
any
so people were looking under the mattress. Nobody had tried to like cut into the mattress though, right?
no.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Um, are there any other smells here of people besides us and Chris and Helen?
That's a good question.
So I'll say for spending a clue for that,
Yeah.
yes, there were other scents, but they're very faint now.
Like,
They smell of people.
of people, but like in the same time frame, or
I will say it's for that. For your role, you can tell it was definitely within the last few days.
okay.
Like
Because I'm
judging
just trying
from
to
the
figure
time
out
frame.
if he's trying to make it look like someone was tossing over his thing and did a really bad job
So
and disappeared.
I will say, relative to the time frame from when Chris was allegedly missing, that these other scents were pretty much around, have been around as well.
Okay.
So it's like, so I guess your sense of smell kind of denotes that whenever Chris disappeared, these new scents arrived. So they were looking for him.
Okay. Because I just wanted to make sure he didn't just do it to himself
Right.
to bounce.
Right. And I will say, I forgot to mention this detail to Perdita. Perdita, you do notice that there were on one corner of the bedroom there were some luggage cases that were half full, like hastily filled, and then it looks like they were abandoned.
Is there evidence of where Chris was trying to run to?
Okay. Now, so that will spend the clue for sure. Yes, you do. It seems that there were brochures for a timeshare in another state beyond the city, where it was tropical and perpetually, all the time sunny, and it was called the Sunny State.
It's a little.
Huh. All right. So those are all the clues that I have to spend. So she's gonna walk back into the main room and like.
So I found the picture of Helen. Does she look familiar to anybody?
I've only talked to her on the phone, right?
You met her in person.
Oh.
Okay, so that's her.
Okay.
Yeah, there she is.
Other people have been here, so he didn't do this to his own apartment. I thought about that for a second.
That would make sense.
Do you want me to go check out the bedroom? Anything in specific?
I mean, the guy was going somewhere. He obviously didn't get very far. He was half packed before somebody, probably a pack of goons, broke in here and probably yanked him out of here, or at the very least came looking for him. But he was going for that timeshare that Helen kept talking about. That place they were talking about having somewhere to go, right? Some place where they could just always spend time together. Maybe they had it or found it. But hang on a second. He was packing and then he disappeared. So you said there were people here. Maybe they grabbed him the night that he was supposed to try and run. Otherwise, why would he leave these things half packed?
Yeah. I'm gonna go check out the bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll go in there and I'm gonna sniff around the luggage and see if there's anything that stands out there first as one of my clues. Yeah.
You do sense something. It's actually familiar to you again because you were there in the office earlier today. you kind of pry through the luggage and find a note, and you can you recognize the handwriting because this person gave you the address, and it is in Susan's handwriting,
Mhm.
and it mentions apparently a what looks like an address, the name of a coffee shop, and mentions a time, the date. The date is already passed.
Mhm.
And then it looks like dollar signs, about 3 grand to be exact.
So she was paying him for
The story.
the story. It would have seemed. Yeah. So he's
Mhm.
gonna tell all, and she's gonna pay him. Okay, that
Mhm.
makes, which I figured was something like that. But yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
It's a standard thing.
yeah, and then I want to sniff around to see if there's anything that stands out to me as a place that he might have hidden something, like that he would have spent time specifically in, or like some that's very marked with his scent and only his, if that makes sense.
Sure. And I think
Oh,
you're
yeah,
I
like you
feel
could
like
track him with it.
Mhm. So you're sniffing around a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of his scent everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but you're starting to notice though something is off because you're like, well, and then you kind of look down, look at the bed, and you kind of lean underneath the bed, maybe because you think maybe there's something underneath. And that's when you've noticed that one of the floorboards is actually a little loose.
Mm.
And you know, and your sense of smell is noticing that there's also a scent coming roughly around there. And so you open
I
the
know. I'd be like, "Hey, Perdita,"
She
because
like whips
she has
around.
gloves.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
This.
Ooh, good find. She like hops down, hunches down,
Mhm.
and like starts to gently pry
So
up the floorboard.
Yep, the floorboard's pretty loose. And what it reveals is a bunch of looks like memorabilia. There's an actual signed baseball. There seems to be a baseball. There's a couple baseball cards stacked away. They're also and they're actually like fully laminated in like hard heavy plastic, collector's items most likely. And then there's also what you find also are actually a couple of crumbled pieces of paper, and as you open it you realize these are also pieces of a ledger, and it looks like some more pages of another manifest, but it definitely is a shipping manifest from the Shangzhang warehouse.
So Perdita is like unwrapping things, like, oh, gotta keep this memorabilia safe, I guess. But wait a second. And she like reaches into her jacket and pulls out the ledger, and she's like flipping through it and like holding those pages up to the ledger to compare them.
Yep.
And match them
Oh,
up.
I will say for my enjoyment of this, and unfortunately because Smurf is not here for it, there's the stack of baseball cards. There are 20 of them. One of them is obviously of Babe Ruth.
Oh, I'm taking that.
These are vintage. The other one, there is one that is right behind it. It's stacked right behind it. It is for a let me just pull up this just so I'm correct. For a Miller Huggins from the Cincinnati Cardinals. I have to make this distinction because on the back of the card it says the rabbit.
Oh my god.
What the fuck? This can't. No.
We should take that, and I'm gonna take this one for Tommy.
Tommy, nothing. There's a whole thing here. He's the rabbit. And she's like starting to vibrate a little bit. Like, I don't like coincidences like this. It's very exciting, but I don't like it because something's going on, and I can't put my finger on it. If I smoked, I would go for a cigarette. I just gotta. She like puts the baseball down. freaking baseball stuff, and Tommy's not here. And God damn it! And it's like starts pacing around the living room.
Hey, Jackie.
Yes.
I noticed you haven't mentioned anything about that danger we are attracted. Are we aware in any way of that danger?
So funny you mentioned that, Miriam. You're still in the living room more or less, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I've
and kind of
been,
just taking stock of everything. So you notice out of the window, because it kind of looks outwards towards the street. You notice about two black cars parking not too far from the apartment. They're all the same make, so they're all Fords. No, I'm sorry, they're Lincoln Town cars because it's the 80s. And a bunch of people start coming out. They all look relatively the same. They're all dark-haired, pretty fair skin, wearing what looks like business jackets and like blazers and things like that. And they're all exiting out of the cars. There's about 8 of them. There's one of them wearing just a button-down black shirt. Looks about probably late 40s, early 50s also, and is a little bit more huskier looking than the rest of them. But they all seem very suspicious, and they seem to be looking around the neighborhood for a few minutes before they all just start coming towards the apartment. And you notice right away there are chains and lead pipes, and you also see one of them is carrying definitely a revolver.
I appreciate the music cut out right as you said
was
the word
perfect.
revolver.
That wasn't even on
I was like,
purpose.
fuck.
So you
pipes,
all, so Miri,
chains,
you
and a
see that
revolver.
coming. So
Y'all, we need to get out now. There's people coming. And like
What?
armed. One has a gun. Let's start with that. One of them has a gun.
Oh yeah, let's lead with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get out of here.
Wait. No. If we go, then we won't figure out who these guys are and what they're doing.
Would you like to take a bullet in order to learn more about this?
I can fend for myself. If the two of you want to run away, I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, we could stick
How
around.
many
and
of
see
them
what's
are
going
there?
on.
there are 8.
As a player,
Noted.
totally fine with running away because I think that's great.
As a character.
Perdita
As a
is
character.
like, wait, but why?
Because we don't want to die.
So
I mean, I'm not saying you can stick around and get shot. I'm just saying, like, if the two of you want to get out,
I mean,
we can
unless
all
they
go.
have silver bullets, I'm fine. But like,
I mean, if you think it's best, pretty. The player me wants to run right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Meaty is already like crumbling and is like,
Yeah.
well, if Perdita thinks best, then obviously
So-
Meaty
All
doesn't
right, so
know
she's
better.
she's gonna like look at Miri doing this and be like, okay, fine. Look, let me just get a good look at the car. Okay, let's go.
did you get the license
okay,
plate?
so
Yeah,
the
she's
license
like
plates.
she's doing like
on
the
the
Cam
car?
Jansen click.
No, yeah, I was
mental
asking for.
snapshot.
Oh, yeah,
did you get
oh,
the
man.
license plate?
Man, I just thought back about Cam Jansen because I used to read that when I was a kid.
Hell
Jeez,
yeah.
that's a callback.
Cam
Holy
Jansen,
cow, I
Encyclopedia
never thought I
Brown.
lived-
Encyclopedia.
I
Brown.
never
Oh, yeah,
thought I
that sounds
lived to see the
good.
day that somebody else actually knows about Cam Jansen. Wow.
Dude, that
Okay.
that was the shit. Anyway, sorry.
Nobody else I knew in Florida read it.
So good, so good.
Anyways, all right. So
All
you're
right.
gonna so let me understand what's the operations of everything. So you're all gonna leave, but you're gonna also try to get a snapshot,
But
at least
how
a
are we
mental-
gonna leave? Is the question.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how are you leaving?
Yeah.
I have an answer.
You have an answer.
I've
Okay.
been dying for this.
Yep.
So I as Alice in Wonderland is my mythos. My mobility theme through the looking glass. I've chosen the ability. How can your mythos transport others? By creating rabbit holes. So I
Mhm.
think Perdita's looking around in the apartment, like, all right, well, they're coming. There's a
Mhm.
bunch of guys, too many. Okay, so this place is kind of beaten up. There's got to be somewhere in the floorboards. She's like kind of on her hands and knees, kind of crawling around. She finds like a mouse hole, like
Mhm.
cracked in one of the baseboards. She's like, okay,
Yeah.
and she waves everyone over it, and she's like, "Oh, so I don't know what's going to happen on the other side, but we can go out." And she
That's
I feel like that's taking
reassuring.
the risk.
It is. I love
Yeah,
it
yeah.
so much.
so she's like reaches down to the mouse hole and like pulls it kind of like a sticker a little bit, and the mouse hole like stretches until it's just like this little like storybook tunnel.
Mhm.
I love
And
it
maybe
so
maybe it's like
much.
full on like weird reality of like the spiraling energy and like clocks and like falling cards and stuff. Everything's like
Okay.
weird inside of it. She's like, best we got.
Okay. So I want to just invoke a hard choice.
Yep.
To make a hard
Yeah.
choice on Perdita. So this is a cinematic move normally. So it usually triggers when answers to your mystery are within reach or it's an identity that demands your action. But you decide to forgo it. So I'm going to say, so because you are in a moment where it's like everything is leading up to the point of what is this connection with the rabbit still? Why
Mhm.
why is this relevant to me? So I'm going to, but at the moment you are choosing safety versus trying to really dig deeper. So go ahead and mark a fade on that part,
Okay.
but you will, and then for this, and just for that, and then go ahead and decide how you want to roll for your take the risk.
So for my take the risk, I'm gonna burn my
Ooh.
tag for create rabbit holes.
Oh.
Okay, so go ahead and just highlight that fiery symbol emblem. All right,
Did
so
it.
that counts as that automatically treats as a 7 roll with a power set at 3.
Yep.
Now let's see, because you're kind of, I want to say because you're all doing this in a rush, right? Is you're all just, we gotta get out. So there, I will say there is just one negative tag, and that is you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
You're just choosing to go somewhere random. So we're gonna say that we're gonna call it uncertainty is the tag. So you're down to a 9. So for take the risk at a 9, that means things get messy.
I just for funsies,
Mhm.
I guess I'll also invoke my weakness, which is that when I use my my mobility powers, sometimes things become topsy turvy around us. So like
Ooh.
wherever we fall out, reality is going to be like a little bit warped.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
All right. So
Yes.
yeah, that will go ahead and mark attention for that.
So
And
good.
so you're all spinning through this dimension of clockwork gears and clocks, just like this, just raining down. So here's the difference. You're going down, the clocks are going up, and you're like, what is going on?
Is this what your mind is like? All the time?
The mind, well, I mean, not really in so many words. It's more like everything around me kind of goes sideways. But you know, I kind of find some order in chaos at the very least. We want to go probably take a right at the teapot. Then we go down 3 miles, which is really going to feel like about 15 feet. Once we
Right.
get down there, there's going to be a divergence at the mushroom field, unless that's moved because it's an alternate Tuesday. So hang on. Wait, no. Mushrooms. Snap. Ah,
Okay.
it's all
So
we're off
so-
course. Hang on. And she
Yep.
just like
So Simon,
Yeah.
mechanically speaking, for that, so I'm going to give you 2 outcomes, and you get to choose between which ones they are, and they're technically GM hard moves. So it's going to be So I'm going to go with, things get complicated big time, and
Boy.
or it's going to be a make something. I'm going to go with deny them something they want.
Hmm. Uh, let's get denied.
No.
Okay.
I think that makes
So
sense.
what happens is when you're teleporting, right? Because you had the ledger looking out and you were trying to compare everything, and you had to make this rushed attempt. When you teleported through the rabbit hole, through the vacuum of the air of this new dimension, the ledger flies out of your hands,
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait. Wait.
and you're just like,
Wow.
woo, 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 and like the cinematic is like the panel is you're all falling into this like void or this dimension, and there's like that pinhole of where the rabbit hole used to be, right?
Yeah.
And where would you like
Shit.
to appear?
Anywhere else?
Anywhere else? How about, okay, you all appear in, oh, so it has to be, so it's another rabbit hole, right?
Yeah,
How-
something like that, like a crack or a mouse hole or.
I got one really good for you. The panel switches over to a tree in a park, and there's a hole where a squirrel hole, and there's a brief glimmer of like kind of light that emits from it, and you all just get jettisoned out of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What park? are we
And
in?
the sign pans, and the camera pans, and the sign says Lewis Park.
You've got to be kidding me.
I once Jackie said park, I was like, I know where you're
I knew
taking
that.
this.
This is Faith saying this. Kate knew where we were going. Faith is like, you've got to be kidding me.
Perdita's not listening. She's jamming her head like in the squirrel hole and like trying to jam her hand through the hole futilely to like go back and grab the ledger. Like, wait.
You get a very upset squirrel squirreling down to you and just like going and just like kind of hissing at you.
Hey, back off! I saw it first. Fine.
Mm,
This is the park that was in the picture of him and his sister where he plays baseball. That's
What?
not a coincidence, is it?
Sure it is. I didn't pick anything. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but-
Maybe it's in my subconscious. We don't have time to psychoanalyze how this whole thing works, but now that we're here, let's have a stroll.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Y'all right there? And she's like patting Miri on the shoulder. Like,
well, I've been trying to figure out whether or not Meaty would have made it through in time. Because the last thing that I remember that Perdita saying to Meaty is like, here's this thing, we might end up somewhere. So I've been trying to figure out whether or not she'd be anxious, like too anxious to actually go, and if she'd be stuck back there.
The question is, would she have been waffling because literally Faith would have grabbed her and shoved her in?
Yeah, that's probably more likely
That's
what
what
happened
would
in
have
that case.
happened.
Yeah, that's
Ugh.
yeah. She's yeah.
All right. So you're
Well,
all three. So all three of you are there.
oh,
You notice that the park, there's a baseball field. No surprise to anybody, really. And you notice that not far from the baseball field, there is what looks like a very green kind of landscaper shed. It's about 20, 25 feet long. So it's easily a place for somebody to hide.
I'm gonna go look at this shed because if he's in this shed, I swear, Faith has just had it. She's just had it. She's just over it. She's like,
You make it through halfway through the baseball field before your wolfish senses detect the scent of Chris Roth.
she's just gonna stop in the middle of it. She's gonna stop there, wait for everybody to pick up. Motherfucker.
what?
He's in there.
For real?
Yeah, like really, I can fucking smell him. So like, not a coincidence.
You want to say hi?
Yeah, I really do. Really,
Okay,
really
don't
do.
punch him before we get
I
answers.
won't. I promise I won't punch him today.
Okay.
How many hours are left in this day?
Not much.
Okay,
It's
great,
about maybe
perfect.
2 in the morning. So so as you approach the shed, how do you wish to approach the shed, and how do you wish to open said shed doors?
I mean, I think we should be friendly and not jerky. So Faith should not be the one approaching the doors right now.
That's fair.
I mean, Midi can take this one.
Yeah.
'Cause he
You're
hasn't
good
done
with
any.
people. You're good with people.
Yeah, that's surprisingly, despite the anxiety, she is actually very good with people.
Mhm.
Not for herself, for others.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um,
It's like that mom friend override.
Yes.
So, so
Damn it.
Miri, how do you want to approach that shed, and maybe Chris Roth, who's there, maybe.
I think she will just like pat Faith on the shoulder and like lightly press in a way that indicates like down, like pull back just a little bit, just a little bit, and very just kind of gesture to Perdita that she's gonna try and take the lead, and then she is just actually just gonna try and walk up.
Yeah,
Just-
please.
She's just gonna try and walk up to the door, and she's just gonna knock very carefully.
You hear a whimper. Ah!
Mr. Roth, I'm assuming that is you.
The door cracks open briefly. How do you know who I am?
We've been looking for you. Your sister sent us. We're not here to harm you. And she like is keeping a hand on Faith's shoulder.
Go ahead and
while
roll me a
saying that.
convince for that.
I'm
Okay.
gonna smile nicely. I'm not going to be a jerk about this.
But is it a toothy smile? Because if it's a toothy
No,
smile, then that's different.
No, she's actually gonna smile nicely. She does work with people. She knows how to be nice.
Mhm.
Okay, I gonna say unyielding compassion for others comes to mind here.
Yep.
And I think that might be the only one in this case.
I'm
Unless you
gonna-
allow hospice care in terms of her training with how to talk to people more effectively. But that's your call.
I'll let that go in as well.
Okay.
That will fit in. It's bedside manner, I guess, is
Yeah,
really what it should be.
that's. Yeah, I should probably. I think I put hospice care more just to cover like training as
Mhm.
well, but
Right.
it kind of probably would. Let's be
If
honest.
it's in there though. It is
Yeah.
in there, so I'll definitely let it
So,
in.
gonna roll for convince. Did it go through? Unfortunately, it did not.
Okay.
Oh wait,
So-
hold on.
Mhm.
Are two
Did it
marked
not
and
include it?
causing a negative? No, I think two are marked right now, but I don't know if they're adding anything to it. I don't think they are because neither of them should
Well,
have anything.
so
they didn't affect the roll.
what
so
happened
it's
was
fine.
you rolled a 2 and a 1, and then you have a power of 2.
Yeah,
so that's
so-
Yeah, that's why. So
So,
nothing.
yeah.
So it didn't go through. So he's still probably
okay.
frightened.
Okay, so what happens here is he kind of just looks he kind of sees the like all of you there, and for a brief moment he just lets out a scream and says, "I'm not the one." It's like I gotta get out of here, and he just like slides the door open, darts out after you, and the hard move is going to be he's going to try and deny you something, and he's going to try to and he's going to actually what he does is how he escapes is that you notice, because you've worked with Tommy before, who has the ability to really move really fast, and you're noticing that there's this similar agility that is definitely not normal. And for a brief moment you see this brief visage of like he's wearing just a generic polo shirt and khaki right now, but you see this brief visage of a of a Cincinnati Cardinals jersey materialize around him, and all of a sudden he's darts past all of you and runs out towards the park. And as you all try to get your bearings and turn and try to give chase, the minute you all turn around and give chase and about to get chase, Miri, you see a visage, a shadowy visage not far away, and you hear a coin flip, a resounding coin flip, and Chris falls down.
Shit.
And and then the mist deepens in the park, and the figure fades away.
Oh, fuck. Damn it.
Does anyone want to approach the body?
That sounds like a cliffhanger to me.
Yeah, I think we should. I should.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good cliffhanger. That's
No,
true.
yeah, I think-
So
I
we'll
think we
end it
should
here,
put
everybody.
cliffhanger there,
We'll end
yeah.
it here. It's a good cliffhanger. It's a good cliffhanger. We'll end it there.
Yeah. Let's cliffhanger it there, and then.
Yep.
Shit. Jackie. God damn.
So I just want to do a quick narrative outro, if
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and choose. I think we're gonna set this in City Hall. So whichever whichever one works there. So you see the outro begins with Elena LaCroix, the Madam Mayor of the city, sitting in her office desk. And for a brief, she just seems to be writing something on some sheets of paper before there's a knock at the door. And a man with a business suit and has a little bit of he has a paler skin, kind of greenish eyes, and has like a very soft brownish blonde hair, trimmed, closes the door behind him and sits down at the chair. The Madam Mayor is not looking up. Has it been taken care of? Yes, actually. His Royal Majesty took care of it himself. Is that right? I'm impressed he was willing to even be out in the middle of the night. Well, it was either myself or someone else, but we were already on the case since they made themselves quite known very easily. We should probably keep an eye on them. We probably should. I'll look into them. Speaking of which, and he pulls out a bag. It's Fate's bag. Speaking of which, I believe you have you might have something of a concern in the future. And she just smiles and says, "Isn't that why you're labeled as the Jack? Fair. I will take care of it. And I seem to have quite a few other leads to look into. Well, finish up and make sure nothing is left to chance." Very well. I'll make sure that all things are taken care of, and they seem to be lurking around quite a bit, so if anything should happen, I will take care of it, as always. Good. I would hope nothing less, my knight. Fade to black.
I hate that.
And that's it, everybody. Welcome to the first conclusion of Case 1.
Ugh.
It ended in death. Things are going great.
We're the worst people at fixing things.
When
Oh,
Those
Sunny
hard
was
moves
son-
are really hard on you.
No, they are shit. Did you want to do the geek out during the credits, right? Quick, we've got
Yes,
like
let's
10
do the
minutes
geek
before
out
we're
because
supposed to be
yeah,
done.
no, we got 10 minutes to geek out.
Let's do some. Let's
All right,
do some
everybody.
geeking out. Let me get to the.
All right,
point.
so for everyone who wants to know, at the end of every session of City of Mist, there's an actual move where we geek out, and so we're gonna answer some questions as the credits roll, literally and figuratively. So go ahead. So who? I'm just gonna generically ask these, and then we're just gonna have everyone go around the horn and answer them. Has the crew grown this session? How do you all feel about it? Pretty closer, a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah, we did some that classic divide and conquer action. We got the
Yeah.
chance to showcase a little bit of our individual skills, both for researching during downtime and then in the actual apartment. So I think
Okay.
we got some connections.
Yeah, so go
there.
ahead and mark one attention for your crew theme. Okay, so for everyone, what was the most meaningful interaction with who was your most meaningful interaction with your character this session? And you will add a help point or a hurt point next to their name on your character sheet.
Mine was Perdita giving Faith confidence. Like you could do this. This is what
Yeah.
you've been training for. Like, of course
Yeah.
you've got this. You know what you're doing. That was really meaningful to Faith, I think.
I almost want to say it's like the same in response. Of like, hey, this is rough. I'm good at like figuring things out, but I'm not the best at helping people individually.
Mhm.
And that's a moment where she like had to be a little more vulnerable. So
I like that. And Miri?
I'm leaning towards how Perdita handled the escape as the most meaningful reaction, but
ooh,
I'm inclined to think that's more in the hurt category.
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like there was a certain like a willingness to be like, oh yeah, it's two other people who I may like in Meaty's eyes are like we're all responsible for each other's well-being, and to see someone just kind of in her mind go like callously like, oh, it's this minor thing, we'll get over it, but I have answers. The answers are
Right.
here.
such a selfish, childish thing
Yeah.
to be like, wait, no, but I want to know.
Right.
Mhm.
Like I think in
Forget
her
the two of
mind,
you.
yeah, in her
Okay.
mind that's a sign of like that's not gonna work with her. Oh
Yeah.
god, she's gonna be such
No.
a mess next session.
Oh, yeah.
Oh god.
Okay,
Maybe
and
so
then-
fucked up.
And then for the last thing, which of your themes is under the most strain? If it collapses, which new aspect would you show up in its place? You can write down your answer under the flip side of your theme cards.
And that's something that may or may not be true for everyone,
Mhm.
right?
Mine
Right.
is really true, and I'm wondering if it's starting to crack, Jackie.
What?
The one more year.
Oh,
Oh
do
gosh.
I mark a
Yeah, you're
crack in that?
neglecting your-
Like, am I to
Um,
that point yet, or am I even there? Because like,
I think we briefly touched on it, but we hadn't gotten to like the meat
the
and potatoes of
okay,
it.
so we're getting there.
So I think
but,
we'll
like,
get. I think we
okay.
will, and I think it's gonna be
But
great,
that
and it's
one
gonna be
is
terrible.
the one that's under the most stress right now. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
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 Especially you lost some of your lesson plans, you lost
Mhm.
some of your paperwork, you lost some other meaningful things like
Yeah.
some of your identity.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah. 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 It's a big deal.
Maybe I am going to go the Phoenix character arc.
Oh, no.
Because like I think for her the Mourner Misfortune one is the most under strain, so it probably has its first crack because it's like seeing someone just die in front of her that she was just like, no, I swear I'm here to help,
yeah.
goes away and immediately runs into cause of death because in her mind because of her.
Okay, so
So-
go ahead and mark the crack, Angela, and then we'll definitely cover it next session because I want to cover that.
Yeah, well, because the weakness tag is nightmares and flashbacks, so this is gonna be bad for her. Oh god.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Simon,
God.
what do you feel?
I
Perdita.
think the conflict central to my Through the Looking Glass mystery, which is how do I catch up to the White Rabbit,
Mhm.
is absolutely in danger of cracking. Not only because she neglected grabbing the information and lost a lot of leads, but also he might be dead. And so the mystery itself may have to change. And if it keeps falling apart, it's going to fade from her. So
Mhm.
I don't know what she'll replace it with. It has to be a Logos thing, but I
Mhm.
will think about what specifically might replace it in its
Okay.
in the future.
Alrighty. Sounds good. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight for this very intense, drama-filled episode of Royal Flush. We definitely had a lot of big things happen in this episode, a lot of good connections, and a case that has gone awry.
The heart
But
moves
it
are
is
good,
more
though.
or less.
We can only
Yeah.
go up from here, right?
Sure we can. Sure we can. Right. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you
Do
for
wanna do
tuning in.
outros?
Yeah, let's do outros
Okay.
really quick. Kate, why don't you do yours first so we
Sure.
can see if we can find somebody to raid?
I've been looking. I'll keep looking. Hi, I'm Kate. I go by Me and Midair on the internet. I stream here with this great crew and also sometimes over on So Maddie Games. And I make things on the internet at meandmidairdesign.com. Check me out. I make cool things like this overlay and all that kind of stuff.
Please hire her. Okay. Thank you, Kate. Angela?
Hello there, everyone. I'm Angela, otherwise known as Phoenix24Fem on Twitter, or Philosophem. Yes, the Philosophem over at. I have to remember, I have like only 3 variations on one name. Don't give me shit, Jackie. Mr. Solely Deathbite Mage. Convenient.
It's branding.
Philosophem over on Patreon, where I'm a professional writer and poet, and where I obviously write much better than I speak currently because of my castmate. Fucker. And you can also, if you're in need for either your website or for a TTRPG campaign, I'm also a musician for hire, and I'm also currently working on my own game that is a mixture of just themes from Ryutama, descended from the Queen, so for the Queen card improv game, and also inspired by the Winnie the Pooh story Search for Christopher Robin. So there's that, and then I also am a GM over at Heroes Without Limits on Mondays at 2 p.m. EST, where I'm running folks through Quest RPG, and every other Friday I'm over on Utopia on Fridays 9 p.m. EST for Chimera, where I'm playing a trans illusionist reality warper, living the dream.
Yeah.
And I think that's everything, and I'm here. I lose track. I have a lot of things.
Yeah.
Don't judge me, Jackie.
And Simon.
Hello, everybody. My name is Simon. You can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris. I write tabletop role-playing games, and you can buy them at colorspraygames.itch.io. Check out some of those various designs. There are a lot of other things that I do on the internet. I'm a professional GM for Magpie Games. If you go to magpiegames.com/curated-play, you can find out how you can get linked up with me or many other fantastic GMs playing Root, the role-playing game, Bluebird's Bride, Masks, and other fantastic Magpie titles. I am a voice actor for the Penumbra Podcast, which is a queer sci-fi and fantasy audio drama. If you want to see yourself represented in stories, that's the Penumbra Pod on Twitter, thepenumbrapodcast.com, wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. And last but not least, currently I am a stretch goal for Brinkwood, The Blood of Tyrants, which is a Forged in the Dark role-playing game that is sort of like Robin Hood meets Castlevania. Mask up and drink the rich. If you want to get in on that action, there are still 5 days left in the Kickstarter. So Kickstarter, Brinkwood, check it out. And look forward to my Mexican Revolution alternate setting, which is like, what if Emiliano Zapata teamed up with Van Helsing?
Yes.
Go check it out.
I just put the link in the chat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and I guess that's left up to me. Hi, everybody. I have been your master of ceremonies for this game. I am Jackie, better known as Death by Mage. I am a any award-winning writer, I guess, and I also create a bunch of other tabletop games as well on deathbymage.itch.io, and also I have a lot of other things on the portfolio, so you can check that out on bit.ly/dbmport. I just recently released like 3 new playbooks for Blades in the Dark, so those are free. You can pick those up. One of them is the Switchblade, which is inspired by Jekyll and Hyde and Jack the Ripper. So it's this ability to stay in and be a wolf in sheep's clothing among the normal people. The Driver, so it's a dedicated playbook just for someone who has like getaway vehicles or can expedite getaway vehicles. And so it's a little bit Fast and the Furious, Transporter inspired, and then we have the Bounded, which is kind of a play on the vampire playbook. Basically, what happens if somebody has been infused with arcane energies or has been exposed to ectoplasm too long and has become this kind of lost creature of dark desires. So those are the new playbooks that I loaded up recently. There'll be probably more projects coming along the lines. I'm in the middle of a couple of other ones that I can't talk about, so we'll just leave those there. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us. It's been a blast. I hope you enjoyed the game. And tune in next week to find out what is in store for our Wildcards group.